luck is part of the sport.
Yeah.
And then we battered Dallas to go to the Western Conference Final, right? The season was phenomenal, but then, like you said, after that, we fell apart. The coach just got sacked at the end of the 2024 season. Interim coach Davey Arnaud stepped in for the last game, and then they hired Nico Estevez. Expectations are high because of the investment that was put into the club. I mean, you can't spend $30 million and nobody expect you to win more games, right? And that's why they spent the money, to win more games. It's when you saw it. And it wasn't just about the final. Like I said, it's about the journey. It's not about if it was rigged or whatnot. It's about one player receiving an insane amount of favoritism, and Ronaldo has never seen an ounce of that.
Two things. Two things. He supports Real Madrid, so there you go. You take that take as you want, right?
For sure.
Two things. Two things. One, the sport is not perfect. There's gonna be mistakes, and when you're searching for mistakes, I will find a mistake in any game. You give me a game, find a mistake, I will find one.
Check out these moves, bang bang. We just getting loose, same man. The turf meets the cleats, this on repeat, cause this what we do. Game face, don't blink, don't doze off. Under these lights, this is pro ball. Heartbeats in sync, this a roll call. If I call out to the fans, it could go off. Down south FC, we them Austin boys. Bring that heat, bring that boom, bring that Austin noise. Whistle blows, let them know, line them up, let them go. Do this, they gon' react, do that. We'll get it back. These limbs, these roots, a part of the tree, part of the city, larger than me. Home field turf, home field dreams. Stand by the code and live by the creed. Kick, slide. Ready to drive, ready to strike. Vision is wide, dive, play, strike game. Ready to fly, ready for anything. Picking a side, stand on it. Put it in drive, shift gears, clock ticking. Watching the time, this a moment. Adrenaline high, the whole stadium scream. This is our team. Watch the sky turn green.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Opinionated Media Off Topic. It's been a while.
It has
been a while. Some time.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're better than ever. And we're here with the boys. We are Austin TV. Thank y'all for letting us come to y'all spot and record an episode, man. It's always nice to, see something new and go somewhere else and record, instead of having to do it where we always do it. But again, appreciate y'all for letting us come through and shoot this pod. Like I said, it's been a while,
guys.
I'm excited. Hopefully, we don't, screw things up.
First pod of 2025. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Make sure to check them out. We're gonna link all their socials in the description below. But we're gonna, introduce you to the guys. We were with Hernan and Brian. Super excited to chop it up with them. They're covering Austin FC, soccer, anything really in the space in Austin, and want to get to know more about their story. It's not often you find other media companies within Austin that are kind of doing the same thing, right? Bootstrapping, started off with an idea, a vision, and now they're executing it at the highest level. And this is a big year for them. So we're going to jump into their story and kind of just, talk about some soccer and some other things.
Just like us, we started from the crib and here we are. Yeah. So I guess just give us a background story of like how this came about. Because I'm assuming growing up, y'all are all soccer fans and you're all watching European League or whatever it is and like having arguments at the school table, how we do for football. But how did this all come about?
Well, I think to get to talk about the beginning of We're Austin TV, you'd have to go back to Burnett Middle School. Definitely. What years were we in high school? Like 2009?
09, 2013.
We were in middle school during Lil Wayne's prime. Right? Whenever he was coming out. I remember he had bangers out at the time.
You showed me Sky's the Limit on your iPod. It changed everything for me. Yeah, it changed everything.
I think a Millie came out when we were in 7th grade. But the reason why I bring up middle school is because I clearly remember the first day of going to middle school, 6th grade. It's a pretty big moment. And like, I didn't know where all my friends from 5th grade were at because everybody had these new things called schedules. You had first period, second period, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. Didn't know what was going to happen. I go up to the second floor, walk into the classroom. It was Miss Robinson, 6th grade algebra. And I walk in, and I was like, I don't know what to expect, whatever. I had one thing on me, though, that was like armor. And it was a string backpack that was red, and it was Chivas, Guadalajara. Folks that don't know, that's probably one of the biggest teams in Liga MX. And pretty much what it is like the rivalry that exists between Chivas and America. It can either bring you together or it can push you apart. You know what I'm saying? And I walk into the classroom and I look up and I see this dude. and he has a America yellowed out backpack. And I was like, man, that's the rival team. Like, that's like Lakers and Celtics. It's, it's like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Cowboys, Philly. What do I do? Like, do I sit next to this dude? Like, I don't know anybody, bro. I go up, I sit down next to him. What's up, man? Like, cool backpack. And that was it. That was the start of it. Later on, you got your schedule changed, though.
Yeah.
But that's where I met this guy.
They kicked me out of
sixth
AP
grade.
classes. They're like, you know what? You need to go to the regular classes.
That's okay. I'll be right behind you. It's okay.
But that moment it started off like it kicked off this friendship, and we met other guys that have collaborated with this project with us. But that's where we met, and ever since then we've known each other since 6th grade. We 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graduated together. We've always had the same love for footy, even though it's the only team that we both support is Austin FC. That's the only team that we support. You know what I'm saying? But, this brings us together, and then it brings us together with all the other boys that help us out. And I think you have to talk about the beginning of our friendship to talk about the beginning of We're Austin, because I think that's one of the reasons why we're able to do what we do, because of our chemistry. And you can't buy that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can trust these guys with my life, and I know that they can do the same for me the way that I would do for them. And in this industry, like in the media, it's hard to find that. It's great if you're working through some stuff like this with some of your boys, because you need an army. You know what I'm saying,
bro?
And this part of my army.
100%, bro. Definitely understand that, because just starting off and then having an idea and a vision, and then also just someone that you can trust, especially when you're, it's a friend of yours, and then you're also like building that business simultaneously. It's like one of those things where it's like, at the end of the day, I know I can trust him, because at the end of the day, this is my brother. You know what I mean? And you can, execute properly. So I guess going from there, and then, getting into doing the media and stuff, did you guys play soccer growing up, both of you guys?
Yeah, we
football?
played in middle school, but I didn't really play much in high school. Yeah, I mean, dude, our love for the sport, playing it in the street soccer in front of a friend's front yard, setting up cones or whatever. We did all that. We would go to Cook Elementary School to play there. We'd go to Woodridge. So we went all around. So I'm telling you, where this area right now that we're in, Q2 Stadium, Domain. You go further down. This is where we came up, bro. Played in streets in this area. Went to school in this area. Absolutely loved the sport and soccer. Argued about our favorite teams, our favorite clubs in Europe. And when Austin FC was announced, it was like it sent shockwaves through us. Like, what? Like, we get to finally have something of our own?
And also being from back then, it was a town like Austin. Now it's a city, right? Being from Austin, born and raised in Austin, I don't know if anybody expected it to get like this one day.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at the skyline and it's like, dude, what happened to the Frost Bank, the UT Tower? I can't even see them anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I never expected Austin to get an MLS franchise. I honestly thought that the Spurs were too close, the Cowboys were too close, the Rockets were right there. A lot of these franchises, they don't like competition to come through in this area, in this zone. And Central Texas is a hotbed for a lot of, I guess, migration. There's people from all over the country that are moving here. Let it be Waco, Austin, Kyle, Buda. This area is just booming. And
It's basically owned by UT.
It's basically owned by UT. Let's be 100% real. Yeah. But when Austin FC came to our shores, like we sat down and we talked about it, and we were like, hey, we gotta start a project. But this guy, he's being humble about it. He was the starting left back in our middle school team. We had an undefeated season, and we got battered in the final game. We got battered by Dobie. Dobie beat us, what was it, like 8-2?
6-2.
6-2.
Dobie beat us, but also Dobie was one of those schools that were, our school wasn't the best either, but theirs was, the guy I was defending had like hickeys on his neck. He had a full beard. Some guys had a full beard. Like, I was like, what the hell's going on?
Middle school back then was very different, bro. I didn't have a rough time. Like, I wasn't bullied or anything, but middle school really like woke me up from what my elementary experience to my middle school experience were two different things. Insanely different things.
Yeah, our Burnett Middle School, where we went there, was insane, bro. I mean, we could go off for hours speaking about all of our experiences in middle school.
I do appreciate and I respect a lot of what Austin FC does with Verde leaders. They go to a lot of schools in this area. They do a lot of work with Burnett. But they work with the kids, kind of like Boys and Girls Club almost. Mm-hmm. But, they do their own thing. So shout out to Verde leaders. 4ATX Foundation as well. They do a lot of great work with the schools in this area. I really love seeing that.
They put a little a field right there. What do you call it? Indoor? It's not really indoor, but a little field at Woodridge. So they're putting those all around the city as well. Because as kids, when you want to play soccer, where do you go? Like we'd have to jump fences, be on the lookout, trespassing.
Yeah.
We'd have to play in the street. Like
We were kicked out from a lot of schools.
a lot. That's
because they didn't want us playing.
That's the
hitting
culture
portables.
here in the United States. Is like soccer. You have to seek it. You have to trespass fields. And other places around the world is like, dude, fields are open for everybody. It's like a whole different kind of. The US sees the sport a little different.
That's more than Austin. More of just to add one more point of what I said of what the club has done for the community that I love what they've done is where I went to school as a kid, they built like concrete fields, not fields, but like concrete pitches. You know what I'm saying? They've done one in North Austin, in the South. They have one in Pflugerville, one in Taylor. So that really, like B said, it's a place where kids can go hang out. It's a place where kids can go play and get away from whatever trouble is chasing them, because trouble is out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to find something that keeps you out of it, because it's so easy to fall. It's hard to get up. It's so easy to get in trouble, but it's so easy to stay in line and be like a good kid whenever you, especially nowadays with all the freedom that you have with the cell phone and the world how it is today. You need these places, these sanctuaries where a kid can be a kid. You know what I'm saying?
I'll put ourselves in my eyes. I go back to when I was 12, 11, 13, 14. Imagine, hey, they just the club just build a concrete pitch here. I would be like, what? This is, I'm gonna be there every day.
So I talk, and I don't have relationships with some academy players because they follow the page. They like when we post about them because, I mean, they're like 15, 16-year-olds. They love when they post something about them. They always share it, right? And that's what I do, so they can kind of like not feed their ego a little bit, but to motivate them, to keep going, to know that somebody out there is looking at their career, even being at 16, right? But I always tell them, I'm like, man, if this was around when I was your age, different story. Because when I was coming up,
I would have locked in, brother.
When I was playing soccer,
this is what I'm doing for the rest. I need to do this or I'm gonna bust.
And Cam asked, like, if we played, you just played middle school, right?
I played middle school. At high school,
you were on some other shit.
I was on some other stuff,
But in high school is when I started playing soccer very competitively. I was playing in the high school team. I made varsity sophomore year. And then I was also playing outside of school. So I was playing with Vipers, which is a very known team, UHO. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't?
No, they don't exist anymore. They got bought out. That field where we used to practice, I think it's like apartments now.
Do you guys remember that IBM field that was over here?
Yeah, we used to play there.
we used to play there.
I used to play there all the time.
We got kicked out.
We used to go
Yeah.
through the little fence. I went to Harmony, like that little charter school. in the
You went to
corner.
Harmony?
Yeah, bro. So I played soccer from
Is he on Bali?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I
Maybe.
played, because I played soccer from 4th to 8th grade, played select, all that stuff, and then we used to always go to the IBM field over there, go to the little fence, and So
No, that's the vibe. You want to play soccer, you gotta sneak and break the law,
for sure.
brother. That's crazy. It shouldn't be that way.
Some of these academy kids, they have such a nice just foundation support here with the club because they give them food, they have housing for players that are from out of state, they stay with foster families or whatnot. And for me, the highest level that I ever played, we went to just regionals for first division with NASA Red Wings. Shout out to Coach Tapia. But all those guys that are on that team, we had some really good players, and only one guy got a full ride scholarship to Michigan State out of all 16 of us.
Wow.
But that's how little the opportunity was back in the day. And now you have Austin FC here. You have not only just them, you also have SGA, Sunny Guadarrama Academy. You have all these outlets now. You also have teams in San Antonio that are USL, semi-pro. You have all these different opportunities now that back then they just didn't exist. And I can't tell you how many kids I knew that were so talented that they could have been something, but there was no opportunity there. There was nowhere for them to go. So what did they do? They just joined the workforce.
So before Austin FC got a team, did you guys watch MLS at all or care to watch it?
Very little. Very little. The product wasn't
little.
good. Why would I watch a product that's not good?
Very little. I mean, we would tune in for a semifinal or a final or some marquee game, maybe, but not really.
An all-star game.
Being on it, all-star game.
My first exposure to MLS was when David Beckham got signed. When David Beckham did the huge deal from Real Madrid to the LA Galaxy. That was massive. That was blockbuster. That had never been done before. And now when you look back at that, he masterminded that to the T. He was able to negotiate a lot of things in his contract that people don't even know. He was able to mess with concession prices. Like he was a big.
He saw it ahead,
He
bro.
saw it ahead, and also the Inter Miami team, which is his, in his contract when he signed with the Galaxy, he put it in there where the league was the league had to let him make his own team for an X amount of price that is pennies compared
Yeah.
to what the owners have to pay to get into the league now.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, Precourt paid around $300 million to get into the MLS, to just be let into the league.
San Diego paid $500 million, I believe.
Something like that, almost half, 500 million. David Beckham, if I'm not mistaken, the number that he negotiated with the MLS when he signed with the Galaxy was like 25 million.
That's insane.
So he much, I mean, is on top of all the other investments that he's made, to be able to start a franchise in
might be the best
MLS
one.
at 25 million
San Diego,
is insane.
San Diego is the 30th MLS team, paid $500 million.
And listeners, you can fact check me 100%. Please fact check me. Look at the David Beckham deal when he would change from Real Madrid to LA Galaxy, and he still went on loan with AC Milan.
Yeah.
And then he came back when the season started to start up 100%. But that was my first exposure. I think a lot of people's first exposure to MLS is also that moment because it was blockbuster. It was insane. It had everybody talking at the
And
time.
then that's also too.
Mine was
Fact check was 150, Austin FC.
Austin FC was 150.
Yeah, for
now 300
150.
million. See,
Yeah.
fact check me, please.
mine was not until Austin FC, but I also didn't get into. I mean, I'm still not really into soccer. I watch it, but I don't know like a lot of stuff going on, or players, or rules, or whatever the case is. But I do like to watch it. It is entertaining. Like I said, I watched that Man City Real Madrid.
Yeah,
was it
yeah,
Real?
yeah.
The
Champions-
other day.
Champions
No, not today. The one. I
3-2.
texted you about.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 game.
3-2.
Yeah.
They finished off today, bro. What a performance by Mbappe. sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. But I were y'all before MLS? Was that what y'all watched? Was like European?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
first it was like he explained how we met. We followed the rival team in Mexico.
The Mexican League is
Mexican
still king.
League,
But
yeah.
back in the day, like the Mexican
crazy.
League was probably in its prime when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably in its prime. Like they had world-class players. They had players that made differences in their national team. There was serious teams.
Yeah. And that's the
now
thing, it
it's
wasn't-
kind of laughed at.
It's in our culture, bro. Because like you said, you don't really watch the sport. Some people are like that. The moment that I was born and I could see my eyes, my family would gather around and watch soccer, bro.
That's
and
how we got
cook
brought up.
out and party was a thing. And as a kid, that's all we would watch. So you would play. Like our first gifts were a soccer ball. So as kids, we were instilled into the sport. That's why it's not really the same
That's
here.
crazy. That is like, I mean, obviously but you don't really think about it because, like, I mean, my parents are born here. My grandparents were born here, but I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
But like, the first thing I was shown into was football.
Yeah.
Like the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Yeah,
Like
the
that was
Cowboys.
my
Yeah,
gift was
yeah,
a
yeah.
football. Baseball, like this is what you're gonna play. It was never you're not playing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you're not playing soccer, but like, hey, do you want to play soccer? Or like, give this a go. It was never that. It was always football, baseball.
And it's never like a bad thing. Like, it's not like, oh, you don't watch, it's not like that. It's just where we're at. I mean, it's the United States. The culture is football. I mean, we see how UT games get, bro. Like, it's 110,000 people in the stadium rocking. It's crazy. The city is like, you could feel the vibe. In this area, we're not even close to downtown. You could feel it.
Like, I have one story kind of similar to your upbringing. My nephew, my sister's son, he's second generation at this point, right? My parents are from Mexico. My sister and I were born here in Austin. We tried him out in soccer first. That's the first move. Hey, you want to play soccer? Kick a ball. Can he kick a ball hard enough? Bet. Sign him up, right? He didn't really like it. He's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not, the word is obese. He's not. Like, he's just.
He's, like, stocky.
He's
Yeah.
stocky.
He's stocky.
Like, and he's at least 5 or 4 inches taller than every other boy in his age group. So he picked up baseball. Bro, he hit 2 home runs already. He's not even 10 years old. I'm
crazy.
talking out the park, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you say baseball though, because in my mind, it's like we hear that, we think, oh, put that ball on the line.
That's what I'm saying.
Get line, put it on the
Yeah,
line,
because
you know?
it's
That's
interesting
just-
too.
that's just
My
like the
sister,
first thing we
my
think,
sister
like,
doesn't
just
want him
being
to
here.
play football though. And that's another thing that's going in this guy. It's like a trend. I'm hearing a lot of
it
people
is, for sure.
don't want their kids to play tackle football.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. I was like, I
You
don't
know
want my kids
that's
playing football.
becoming known in families like ours that don't even watch football. They're like, oh no, not that, because I heard, it's like a thing that's reached people that don't normally know the sport. They're
You
like,
also
no,
have
that's
to be
not
a
a sport.
super athlete to make it into the NFL. I have this one friend, shout out to my boy Chase. He tells me that the NFL is probably the hardest sport, is the hardest league, but football is the hardest sport. And he tells me that the quarterback position is the hardest in all of sports. And I always argue with him just to argue with him.
We always have
I would
the black.
argue
You know what I'm saying? But
I would argue that.
he says that he says
He's
that
a
it's he says that
guy.
it's the hardest position in any sport because you have these super athlete, either linebackers, cornerbacks,
100%.
tight ends that are going at you, and you have 3 or 4 seconds to get the ball out of your
I would
hands.
argue that the hardest position in any sport
Yeah.
is probably a DB. I would say.
Yeah. Well, so I can kind of like get some insight on that because I played DB in college. And I would say yes, but like going into quarterback, especially in the NFL, you said 3-4 seconds. You have to think about people blitzing you, trying to take your head off. And then also you got to process information so fast to like make plays at the line of scrimmage, check to a run, throw the football down the field.
Did you hear what Tom Brady recently said?
Yeah.
Why he was so good? Because he was able to read, like he studied the Chiefs.
He got
studied all
better
these guys.
as he got
As he
older
got
too.
older.
So he said the reason why he was able to come home is because he was able to read these defenses before that they were.
So maybe you could split this question up into 2 things.
I love what he said.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Like what's the hardest position physically? Or what's the hardest mentally?
Physically,
Go ahead with the
physically,
I, know
I
mine
guess in
mentally.
football it would be DB.
Yeah.
Because you're having to run backwards with, especially now, like wide receivers are falling off the tree running 4-3, 4-4.
Yeah.
Like everybody is. So it's like you have to backpedal, defend them. You also got to be able to tackle. Nowadays DBs are like 6'2".
Who's the best DB right now in
in
the
the
NFL?
league? It's hard to say.
Or top 3?
I would say probably Trent McDuffie, who plays on the Chiefs.
Okay.
What's his name? Patrick Surtain, who plays for the
I
Broncos.
think that's the best. In my opinion,
I think he's the best. And then honestly, Derek Stingley. Like,
With the
I've been a big
Texans.
fan of him. Like, we watched him play at LSU. The first year he was at LSU, he had like 8 picks as a true freshman. Never happens in the SEC. And then me and Carlos were like, you can kind of just see when someone's generational. I don't know if you guys watched Ohio State this year, but the wide receiver they had, Jeremiah Smith, number 4, like generational. Like
You've probably seen highlights.
You
and it was
see,
him.
you'll see a player and you're like, he could stop playing right now and he's going to get drafted top 10. So
Okay.
like you got players like that now that are just like growing like
Generational
You
talent.
never saw that.
Like what's his name? Yameli.
Lamine Yamal.
That's my guy.
For
Barcelona?
Yeah,
Barcelona.
Like,
Yeah.
He's
Lamine
like him.
Yamal.
Like,
He's
'cause
generational.
like 16.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Yeah,
even like
16.
Mbappe, like,
But like
when he was younger,
younger,
Obviously,
yeah.
like when you ain't be able to take somebody who's 35
Yeah.
hitting the crap out of you in the NFL. So
Okay.
you have to,
I feel you. I
but
feel
the
you.
most,
Understood.
the mental,
It's got to be quarterback, bro.
no. Out of any sport, it's got to be either pitching for baseball or a golfer.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pitching for
I'd say
baseball
that.
or a golfer.
I feel like the quarterback just has to multitask insane compared to like a pitcher. I mean, a pitcher, what is going
couldn't
through his
do it. I couldn't
mind
do it.
to
A
throw
lot.
a pitch?
A lot.
Like,
I mean,
doesn't-
every
what kind
batter,
of- what kind of-
every batter's different. You also have to trust your catcher. You also have to it's like baseball's like mini games in one big game, if that makes sense. So like if there's a
Okay.
person on first, different situation. First
Oh, I
and
see
third,
what you're
different
saying.
situation.
You also have to have a short
Second,
memory,
okay.
different situations. You walk somebody, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's 4 balls in a row already thrown. Then you throw another one, it's like, damn, all right, let me get over the plate.
Yeah.
But
I love
in, like
watching the
golf, it's just like you have one bad swing or like you have one bad hole.
It throws
That's
you-
kind of like your tournament, and you're like all pissed
true.
off in your head.
That's true.
So I
It's
would
you
say like
against you.
pitching and
I've heard
and
golf is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, it pisses me
I've
off.
never played, but some of my friends play or they try to play, and I know some other guys that are pretty good, and they say it's one of the hardest sports I've ever played.
Yeah.
in.
It's fun. It's really fun, but it gets you. You get pissed off.
Okay. It really put it when I learned that golf is like really hard. It put into perspective like the talent that Tiger Woods and some of these top players.
Oh,
Phil
like to
Mickelson.
be as dominant as he was in the like late '90s, early
That's the most
2000s,
dominant
like
athlete ever, in my
it's
opinion.
crazy. Like nobody, like he was literally,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, bro. Like he was.
Athlete?
If you go,
Yes.
if you go look at his
Athletic
turn-
ability?
yes. Like if you
know.
go like
I
look
don't
at
know
his,
about
if you
that
go
one,
look at
brother.
his tournaments, like this man was dominating like in golf, which is just unprecedented.
Yeah.
Like he was number 1 for like 5 or 6 years in a row.
Oh, it like I don't know how much if y'all follow golf at all. So Scotty
very
Scheffler,
minimal.
he's
And
the
he
number
made
one
it
golfer in
popular.
the
I've
world.
heard, I've heard his name.
He
Yeah.
went to UT.
Yeah.
He's been number 1 golfer for like I don't know how many weeks now, like 90 weeks or something like that.
Running?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
the number 1 golfer straight.
Okay.
He had to have like another 900 weeks straight of being the number 1 golfer to catch Tiger Woods.
Damn. Question though, do you think that's because now there's guys like Scotty, and back then Tiger was like one of a kind?
So it's funny you bring that up because I had this conversation with one of my buddies yesterday, and he was like, you know what's crazy? Like in all these sports, you have science, like in football, soccer, baseball, and they make you better, right?
Analytics.
And they
Yes.
make you better. In golf, it doesn't make you better. Like you either got it or you kind of don't.
You
got
either
it.
get it close to the
Yeah,
hole
and,
soon
like, you
enough or
think
not.
about that,
I
like,
see.
Tiger was doing that years. No one's even come close to that. You know,
And
so like.
Yeah,
I see.
that's crazy.
And the clubs are better now.
And the
like
clubs are a
balls
lot better now
yeah.
than they were back then. They're using wood sticks
I
back
see.
then.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So it's like, no matter
but
the
but
science,
I mean, look, yeah, I know very minimal about golf, and I know for a fact there's physical parts of it. The game, I know it. I'm not gonna say it's easy to swing a ball and hit a ball.
the form.
I go to Top Golf and I miss a couple times. The next day, my shoulders are like burning, like it's
Yeah.
like
Facts.
done. So I get it. But to say athletic wise compared to like Michael Jordan's run or any other athlete, like I feel like that. I don't know if I would compare that
but
to.
you got to also realize that golf's an all-day thing. Like
Yeah.
you're on the
18
course,
holes.
18 holes,
3
you're
rounds,
on the course,
usually.
4 rounds if you're
Yeah.
if you're good.
Yeah.
You're in. It's during the summertime, so it's hot. They only play at beautiful places,
yeah.
and before you even go out, you're probably hitting about 1,000 balls.
I would love to go in person and play.
I see a problem in this though. You don't even wear cleats. You don't even
Golf
wear
cleats
cleats.
have like
You don't
little
even wear
spikes
cleats.
on the bottom.
No, but you also have to walk everywhere. Like
true.
Basketball, you get subbed in.
Yeah.
You know, you go sit on the bench.
Man,
Football,
I'm starting to have doubts.
No, football.
Somebody, because
You're
somebody,
on
because
offense.
somebody carries your
Offense is on
bag.
the field. You're
You got a caddy.
You also
Plus-
have to walk
But
the
you
whole
have
thing, though.
teammates.
You
though.
got a cart.
Plus, my foreman plays golf, and he is as out of shape as
Okay.
you can get.
I'm having doubts. I'm having doubts, bro.
It is,
I'm having
like,
doubts.
but we're talking about the pinnacle.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
have a
True,
counter argument to that.
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
probably throw Michael Phelps in there
Yeah.
or Usain Bolt. Maybe him.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, there we go, like-
Mayweather,
Yeah.
Mayweather's also up there.
Mayweather too.
Mayweather had a
Yeah.
moment
John
where he
Jones.
was
Yeah,
an
yeah.
insane specimen.
Yeah, no, Mayweather's run is crazy, bro. Is because I saw it. We
No,
saw
when
it.
you
Think
see
about
it,
that.
you see it,
Mayweather's
it's
run
different.
is crazy,
Yeah.
but like somebody can catch that. That's not that it's
Maybe.
not hard. Hold on, not that it's not hard, but like somebody can catch that.
Yeah.
You know, it like with the way fighting is today. Like if Tank Davis continued to fight, he would catch him.
But I don't even know if he's going to get the 50 fights.
That's what
you know
that's
what I
what
mean?
I said. If he continued
Yeah.
to fight, because he
Yeah.
already said he's retiring,
Look,
he would catch him. No one's catching Tiger Woods.
This is how we could put it into perspective back in soccer terms. We can probably agree that it's going to take a long time or nobody's going to catch or be able to do what Ronaldo and Messi have done in
Yeah.
the past
But
couple
that's
of
the
years.
thing. You're saying Ronaldo and Messi. There ain't no Ronaldo and Messi. It's Tiger Woods only.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because
There's
soccer.
Michael Jordan,
no,
LeBron
but
James.
hold on. The argument against that is soccer is only played by probably 10% of the world. Soccer is played by a huge percentage of the world. So
That's true.
numbers wise, you're gonna have more soccer players than golf players.
For sure. But
what
it's
I'm
also a lot harder to play golf than it is to play soccer.
Yeah, you need a badass field in the
It's also 11 v 11.
some
Yeah, golf's
expensive-
also, golf's also an
11.
expensive sport. Like not
Yeah,
anyone,
yeah.
not anybody can just play.
You can't just go, hey, we couldn't do that when we were youngins. Like, hey, let's
No,
go play
good chat,
golf.
good chat,
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
about the sports. Good chat about the sports.
Since you brought it up, and one thing I was going to ask, and y'all are soccer people, the biggest debate, and probably across all sporting, I think it's bigger
Soccer's
than
the biggest.
LeBron.
Soccer's the
LeBron and Jordan. Ronaldo or Messi?
Oh, that debate ended the last World Cup.
It's
brother.
still going, by the way. The debate is
It's
still
only
alive.
going.
I think it's
only
always
going-
going to go.
It's
The
only
debate's
going
alive
for
Because
the
forever.
fans
people
of
do
each other.
say
Yeah.
that it was rigged. But,
It was not rigged.
How can you rig that
well, you're
final?
also a Messi fan, so you're not going to
But
say
I
that.
like
But-
France though, so
But
I'm like,
you got that. If you go back to the game, last minute, 1-on-1 shot, the goalkeeper saves it. That was rigged, bro. There was no way
Look,
that
mate,
could ever
And
be.
he's
Look,
gotten
mate,
close multiple
look,
times.
But
He
this
lost
is
the final.
Look,
it
I'm
was
gonna
in Qatar,
Without getting too conspiratorial, without sounding like a complete maniac, but some people out there know what I'm talking about. It's not about the final being rigged. It's about how they got there. You know what I'm saying? It's about the number of penalties that were called for them leading
God,
up.
no,
It's
bro. Here we go.
look, listen, hear me out.
Here we go.
Hear me out. The most incriminating piece of evidence is the game against the Netherlands.
What club do you support and love?
Listen to me.
Answer
the
that real
most
quick.
incriminating piece of evidence is the game against the Netherlands. Messi hits the ball with his hand, right? It's meaningless. It didn't really obstruct the game in any kind of way or form, but he makes contact in front of the referee. The first thing you do if it's anybody else, yellow card. And it's just a caution. It's a warning. But the problem is that if he were to have picked up a yellow card, maybe he couldn't have played the final, or that's on his mind. You have to make it clean slate, because when you get multiple cards, it can suspend you for the next match or whatnot, right? Messi does, he just gets a talking to. If it's anybody else in the world, you get a yellow card and you're in jeopardy of missing the next big game. Virgil van Dijk, famous defender, he plays for Liverpool. This is a famous sixer. You can find this on the internet.
Like historic.
Virgil van Dijk realizes at that moment, it clicks in his head. He looks at Messi, he looks at the referee, he looks at Messi, he looks at the referee, and when he realizes that the referee is being soft and he doesn't give him that yellow card that could have been crucial, he just laughs because he knows, and nobody can do anything about a PR machine. Nobody can do anything against that.
Bro.
And right there is when you saw it. And it wasn't just about the final. Like I said, it's about the journey. It's not about if it was rigged or whatnot. It's about one player receiving an insane amount of favoritism, and Ronaldo has never seen an ounce of that.
Portugal
That's where I
also,
like to argue.
Portugal
You're a Messi
also
Look,
fan,
bro,
you're a
two
Ronaldo
things.
fan.
isn't as good.
Two things.
Yes.
He supports Real Madrid, so there you go. You take that take as you want, right?
sure.
Two things. Two things. One, the sport is not perfect. There's gonna be mistakes, and when you're searching for mistakes, I will find a mistake in any game. You give me a game, find a mistake, I will find one. I get this. I get it. It's Messi. It's all that. But the first game against Saudi Arabia, when they got absolutely smacked, what was that? Was that rigged? You can point to certain things in the outcome that changes everything, and you could always do that. But overall, the final, the first games, his goals, his passes, the performance.
He's an incredible
Maria,
player. He's an incredible player,
Yeah.
but you cannot deny that he receives favoritism from referees that other players do not see.
It's yeah.
There's a famous story, and you can fact check me on this as well. There was a referee that purposely didn't show him a yellow card that would suspend Messi from a final in a Copa America because he wanted to get his final jersey. You know how much that would sell for?
No, for sure.
An insane amount of money. Think about these things that could go back door underneath the table that probably happened in baseball, the NFL, the NBA. This stuff happens in soccer too. And I hate when people think that it's just peaches and cream and Messi's this and that. There's favoritism that this guy has experienced that Ronaldo has not.
But this
I mean,
guy
it's-
made it.
it's-
This guy made it. How would you
FIFA
say?
like the most
Inevitable.
corrupt? Like what
Undeniable.
People,
Yeah, no doubt.
honestly,
That's how I feel.
He made it undeniable, bro. He made it undeniable.
Well, he's done
now.
everything, and
done
obviously
everything. He's done everything.
and
He's done
Portugal isn't as good as Argentina. But the thing that I argue with like Ronaldo fans is the amount of goals he has from penalties, like Ronaldo,
Yeah.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm just like, and then when I
Messi
watch,
has a lot.
Messi
as well.
has a lot
Yeah.
too. But like when I think about like complete soccer player, I think Messi is a better passer to me. You know, he can dribble better. I would say.
Yes.
You know, and then like the left foot. You know,
He's
like,
more.
he's more like well-rounded.
well-rounded.
I think, and then Ronaldo is like
He's the
a freak
ultimate goal
athlete.
scorer.
Ronaldo's like 6'2",
Yeah.
like super fast. Messi's like 5'7".
Yeah,
right.
Ronaldo's chiseled. His abs are
so like I look
insane.
at that like the physical traits,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Messi doesn't even have these physical traits, and he's just as good as if not
This is
better.
Just natural talent.
There's
Just
saying,
natural talent.
There's a saying that they would always say, and it's like gonna hurt to Ronaldo fans. Like Ronaldo's an example of someone that can, with discipline, hard work, and every part of like having the resources to do it, to make himself one of the greatest players of all time. Messi was, I forgot, I messed up the quote, but Messi just was born that way. He's not a freak athlete. He didn't like.
There's an argument there that Messi's hormone injections
When he
that
was
he got when he
young.
was a kid.
Yes,
that
yeah.
it could have something to do.
Crazy, bro. We're going crazy here. We're going crazy
Am I
here.
lying? Did he
We're
not
going-
get those?
Yes,
Did he
yes,
not get
yes.
those?
He did.
So am
He
I
did.
lying?
No.
You're not lying.
Okay.
You're not lying.
Okay. Am I lying? No.
You're not lying.
Okay,
You're
I'm
not
not
lying.
lying.
Hey, I'm neutral here.
I'm just saying, like,
I
there's
don't support Madrid or Barcelona.
conspiracy that you can go off of 100%.
Yeah.
So you think
But I go
Ronaldo
with the
is better.
favoritism. I go with the favoritism.
Who's the GOAT,
I
H?
respect what Messi has done at a level because you'll never be able to replicate. His career is perfect.
To
He
the
won-
question- to the question,
he
though.
won the World Cup, right? But for me, if you ask me, who do you want on your team to lead it? I want Ronaldo, and I'll tell you why. I'm not just going to say it. I'll give you points, right? Ronaldo is going to retire as the top goal scorer in history. He's still going. He's 40. He just turned 40. He doesn't want to stop until reaching 1,000 goals. He's made it public. He's like, there's all these guys that say that are ahead of me on goals. Ali Dai from Iran, Pelé. But Ronaldo has said, you can see videos of all of my goals. There's those guys, those are just numbers. We don't know if they scored
It's
those.
kind of like Will Chamberlain's
Plus,
100
supposedly
point game.
Exactly,
they counted friendly goals and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of
And so,
great stuff going on there.
Ronaldo's ambition, his drive, the way that he carries himself, and also just his killer instinct in the box, his ability to recreate himself multiple times in his career is phenomenal. He went from playing left wing to a forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's been able to recreate himself at different teams. He was at Manchester United.
Yeah.
He won the league. He won Golden Ball. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only winger to finish top scorer. Or something like that. That's another fact-checking point. He went to Real Madrid in 2009. He wasn't even supposed to be the main guy at Real Madrid at that time. Kaká was also signed at the time.
Yeah.
And he took the spotlight at the end of the day, right? He ended up being Real Madrid's top scorer. You know how hard it is to be that, bro? All the players that have gone through there. The pressure to survive at a club like Real Madrid for 9 years is insane. And the fact that this guy was able to transform his national team. Messi didn't transform Argentina. Maradona has more respect in Argentina than Messi does. And that's facts.
Yeah, that's
Ronaldo had Figo, had Rui Costa, if I'm not mistaken, or Pau Costa in Portugal. Eusebio was a famous figure as well. But Ronaldo was able to transform Portugal into a respected powerhouse in football today. And today, Portugal is like that meme with the Ninja Turtles when they're young and Master Splinter is a grown man, and then Master Splinter is an old man, and the Ninja Turtles are now old. Ronaldo is I'll give him credit for Leao, João Felix, all those guys are coming up in Portugal, and it is his influence. His influence cannot be replicated with Portugal.
That's all great and nice and beautiful, and I agree with literally everything you said. Who's the greatest soccer player of all time? Lionel Messi, bro.
Why? What can he do different?
Everything that you just pointed out, he has also inspired Argentina. Look, at the end of the day, I don't want to go on this rant defending Messi, bro. I don't want to. At the end of the day, 30, 40, 50 years from now, what's going to remember? It's going to be the chips, bro. It's going to be the World Cup. It's going to be...
Unfortunately... That's what the people do.
That's what the people care about. It's gonna be the Ballon d'Ors. You can bring
That's
up.
what I was about to
you
say.
can bring
He won 5 in both their
That's
playoffs.
fair.
I agree that it should
fair.
have gone to Haaland. It should have. I'm not gonna just like praise Messi in every aspect. I'm not. He's got his. There's also sketchy shit going on with the yellow, with the Ballon d'Ors, this and all that. At the end of the day,
stole Ballon d'Or from Lewandowski. Nobody bats an eye.
That's what okay.
Nobody bats an eye.
But at the end of the day, who's the greatest soccer player of all time? Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is the greatest soccer player of all time?
The greatest soccer player of all time? I don't know if there is one. I don't know if there is one.
But you said it a couple pods ago.
Just like in the NBA.
You don't want to say it now. That's weird.
Just like in like the NBA, you have different eras. You have like different eras.
He said it after the World Cup.
Whenever Messi won the World Cup, that solidified it. Like Messi, everybody was saying Messi needed the World Cup.
Yeah. Both of them, right?
Yes, but Messi has more of a national team to get it done, right?
No doubt. I agree.
Folks want to talk about chips? We could talk about chips. At the highest level, which is the UEFA Champions League, how many Champions League does Barcelona have in their history? 5. How many Champions League does Ronaldo have by himself? 5.
Yeah.
You want to talk about numbers? You want to talk about chips?
Someone just said Pele.
Oh, Pele.
You know what I'm saying? Pele, respect. Pele, respect. That's a legend.
Respect
I don't even like to talk about Pele. He's on another level to me.
You can't even compare the era. It's a crazy.
He's from Argentina too, right?
No, he's
Brazil.
Bro, but you're only looking at one area of chips, bro. Put all the chips together. Bring every chip
And that's
you have
another.
together.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. That's another thing. That's another thing. Messi only did it in one place. Ronaldo did it in the top leagues in Europe, in England, in Spain, in Italy.
Yeah.
What more do these people want?
I agree.
Yeah. No,
Does he win in Saudi?
His team in Saudi is
So
mid.
what
His
about
team in Saudi is
like
mid.
Messi going to the MLS and then Ronaldo going to Saudi? Like, how do y'all feel like? Well, I guess what's more impactful?
For me, I'm biased. I'm living in Texas. I love the MLS now. I follow Austin FC. Whatever can help the league grow here, I'm for it. So I'm all happy. When Messi was here, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna.
What's bigger?
Messi.
No, like MLS or the Saudi league.
You can't even watch that.
It's tough.
At least here.
It's tough because we're around this, so it's tough to say. I mean, look, you would look at players, look at who leaves the Saudi league to go to a bigger club or a move up compared to the MLS. I think the MLS is by far way better than that. We've had players that move from here to go to Premier League, from here to go to all top leagues in Europe in their prime. They make
Clint
the step
Dempsey,
up.
Landon Donovan.
Yeah, go look at the Saudi league.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
compare the numbers of players that go from there to another league and do well.
To me, there was a switch, and it happened, and nobody really even noticed. But the Saudi league is now the retirement league, and the MLS is now becoming a selling league because
the money.
the money. Oh, the money. The money
But I
is
feel like
insane.
they have money in Saudi Arabia too. No.
No, that's why.
No, that's what I'm saying. The money.
For retirement. Got you.
There's
That's
guys.
the Florida league over there.
Yeah.
So there's guys that are playing in Saudi that I forget are playing in Saudi. Like Laporte went from
Deyes,
City.
Deyes.
You know,
Did
so
Frank
many.
Ribery go to the Saudi league or no?
No,
Where did Ribery go? Ribery went to Florentina for
Yeah,
a little bit. He
Fiorentina.
went to
Yeah.
Italy for a little bit.
He
but
didn't
no.
go to. I don't,
Okay.
Saudi wasn't.
It wasn't a
They
thing.
weren't a
Then.
thing
It wasn't
at that
a
time
thing
when he was
then.
coming
Back
back.
then,
Got you.
Ribery, his end, the thing that was popping back then was the Chinese Super League, but that flopped.
It was what Saudi are doing, what China wanted to do,
Yeah.
and they couldn't do
But
it.
the thing is, and you ask us like,
Yeah.
what's bigger, Ronaldo to the Saudi or Messi to MLS? Well, to me, since B said it, we're biased. The time zones we can watch Messi and MLS, and I've seen more games with Messi, you know, than I've seen of Chris with his team Al Nasser, and you know, there's other top players that have been in Saudi, but it's not attractive enough for me. Like the product is not really there. I know that there's good players, so the league has to be somewhat good.
And also, they've just now kind of
just money.
started this
It's just
whole
money.
movement,
Yeah.
like 3-4 years. MLS has been around.
Well,
since,
I mean, the Saudis are trying to. I don't know what they're doing, but they're just trying to take over sports in general.
they
yeah,
have
what they're
money.
doing with boxing is crazy.
Boxing,
too.
Yeah.
golf.
Well, they have the
Golf, yeah.
World Cup coming up in 2030, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
and that's when
yeah.
they were seeing
Yeah.
all those regulations. They
2030,
talking about like how
But
the
then
stadiums.
I mean,
and
they have.
whatnot.
I mean, like we talked about last time, I'm an esports person. I mean, they threw the biggest esports events called the Esports World
Yeah,
Cup.
Esports World Cup was there this summer.
And now they had like. they
There's
do
always
stuff-
UFC fights there.
Ronaldo goes to
Yeah.
the fights when they're out there. I
Well,
see.
they always do stuff
Conor
with
McGregor.
UFC.
They do. What's it called? It's called the
Ryder.
fight. Oh, okay.
Oh, you talking about the
Like a fight. The
Island?
fight.
Fight.
Island in
I forget the
Saudi
name.
Arabia?
It's like the competitor to UFC. It's
Oh,
like
Bel-
EFL. Yeah. What's it called? The
I mean, there's
PFL.
a lot.
Yeah,
There's a
PFL.
PFL. There's
Professional Fighting League.
But
yeah,
the UFC is the biggest, no?
the UFC.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
biggest.
It's
Yeah, that's what
massive.
I think
I'm not a big UFC guy.
Yeah.
Not a big UFC.
UFC
guy.
I love when
I
these
like to
guys
watch
are.
the big
But like
fights though.
they're just trying to take over everything because they're trying to. Jerry says I don't know if it's gonna happen.
It has
but
a
Jerry
term.
said something about them buying the Cowboys, so they'll be getting
Saudi?
into the NFL. Yeah.
What?
I
That's
mean,
who
I could
could.
see them doing
That's
that
who
or,
could.
or
They're the
getting
only
like a.
people who
Well,
can't do it.
yeah.
It's
A team
funny.
like
It's funny that
Jacksonville.
you bring that up. Just real quick side note: there was a huge battle going on the last couple of years for the Manchester United ownership.
Oh, yeah.
The fans for United were pushing out the current owners, the Glazers. They were like, "Sell the club. You guys suck." They also own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I'm not mistaken, so pretty much like the owners live in the USA and they just gut Man United for the money. They just gut them.
use it as a piggy bank.
They use it as like a cash cow.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
fans just got tired of it. The results aren't there. They're like in 15th place right now. Man United is a
They haven't
historic
won in
team.
a long time.
They're a historic
Yeah.
team, and brand wise, they're the biggest brand in world football.
And then you also had Manchester
Big.
City winning like across
Yeah.
the way.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that was going on recently was that there was I think like the Saudi Crown wanted to buy Man United, and I told these guys I was like, "There's no way that England is going to allow this sale because it's a transfer of power." You know what
No
I'm saying?
doubt.
Because Man United has to be owned by English owners because it's the biggest team in England. And so Jim Ratcliffe came in and he bought ownership or whatnot. He's going to buy more as the years go on. That was in the contract. But I was watching the saga going on, and the whole time I was thinking, I was like, there's no way this can happen because it's a huge transfer of power that cannot happen.
Yeah,
Man
that's
City is
crazy.
owned by the Saudi prince, right?
Yeah. Man City.
Man City.
No, it by.
What's it? He's a prince of something.
Okay, yeah, I'm,
That's why they
I'm
got-
getting
that's why they
them and
got good
PSG
so
confused,
fast,
bro.
too.
I always get them confused.
Well, PSG is owned by
PSG
a whole
country.
They're owned
They're a
by
country.
Qatar Investments,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
or
crazy.
something like that. Qatar Investments and
I could be wrong. Isn't who's Chelsea owned by?
Chelsea is
now is they're owned by Todd Bowley, who owns the
the
Dodgers.
Yeah, well, that was controversial because Chelsea's
previous owner
previous
was
owner,
Russian.
he was
that's
involved
what
with the
I was
Russian
thinking
war,
of.
and they
Yes, that's
forced
right.
him to
That's
sell.
what I was
right. That's
thinking of.
right.
He was forced to sell
Yeah.
the team because
Yeah.
he was essentially funding the Ukraine invasion. Essentially,
They
pretty
said
much.
that his money
Yeah,
was funding,
his
but I
money
think I
was
saw a
funding.
recent report that they're coming out with like official links,
They-
kind of clearing his
They
name.
definitely did some fucked up shit to him. They definitely like they. How could I explain? They like said, "You're selling your team. I don't give a damn what you are, just because he was Russian and he was tied to Putin."
and
all
and
that
you
stuff.
really
So-
got to look into the Russian oligarchy system that they had over like the just the Putin's friends and who he allowed to be rich, because in essence, if Roman didn't sell the club, Putin could have taken it from him, which the EPL and the UK government would probably stepped in and be like, you
Yeah.
can't just take
Well,
Chelsea football
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which
That's-
kind of forced the sale.
I'm
That's
pretty
what they-
sure you. I mean, you like to use the word fact check. You can fact check me if I'm wrong. You might remember, but something happened with Russia recently that they canceled the race in Russia.
Yeah, they canceled
and
a
then
race
also
there.
One of the
drivers was forced out the
was
F1.
was forced
Formula
out
One.
the F1. What was the most recent thing? I guess it was the war. I guess.
Yeah,
the war with Ukraine.
the invasion.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. That,
Yeah.
that same year they had the race in Russia. They canceled the race. F1 did, and then F1 also there was a Russian driver,
Russian
that
driver,
was
yeah.
forced out of F1.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Fact check me again. There's no Russian teams in the Champions League because of what's
Because
going
of
on.
that, yeah,
yeah,
because
so
of
that. Yeah, 'cause
like
there used to be,
Russian teams don't even compete in the Champions League.
Yeah, what's that? Once
Are
at
they still
PSV.
banned in Olympics?
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so. What it is,
not
I think
sure.
they were forced to use a different flag, is what I've heard. You know how
Yeah,
they
they had
always,
to. They were
yeah.
like something Republic or
Yeah.
something like that. Well,
That's
damn.
always a thing with Russia and the Soviet Union and all that stuff throughout history, bro. They always had to play with a different flag, different name all the
Yeah.
Well, it's
time.
because back a long time ago, back in
The Cold War times, and
yeah,
even
they're,
before that,
they're
World War
roiding
II.
up and like trying to win all the events.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were
Well,
cheating, yeah.
there's a documentary called I forgot the name of the documentary, but it like uncovers all the cheat that the Russians did in the Olympics, how they were doping and they were hiding all the pee, they were like switching them out for clean pee. It was a whole ordeal.
We cheated when we got to the moon. So
Well, don't get him started on this. Don't
We
get him
vibing
started
now.
on
We
this. 'Cause he
vibing
doesn't-
now.
He doesn't think it's real. We never went.
We never went to that.
we just tricked the Russians that we got there.
tricked
We
everybody
tricked
we
the
got
Russians
there.
that we got there.
So,
So
That's why we
who
ain't
really
never been
won?
back.
So I have a quick
Exactly.
question.
Yeah.
What league is the best? Like in Europe?
The Premier League.
In the Premier
Okay,
League.
got you.
The
Because that's
Premier
how
League.
that's
We
how I
always
feel, too.
argue about that
Yeah.
with the Spanish league and
Top
the
to
Premier
bottom,
League.
top to bottom. I think.
Domestic wise is the Premier League. I would say continental wise would be the Champions League. Like I will put it this way: this is the most valuable trophies you could win, right? In soccer.
Okay.
Number one, the World Cup. That's the.
But it's
pinnacle.
every 4 years.
It's every 4 years. That's the pinnacle of the sport. You win that, it's like this is the same.
But it takes time.
It takes time. Second place, I would actually say the Euros. The
Okay.
Euros is second.
Yeah.
And these are all both of these are international tournaments. It's
Yeah.
not clubs, not
Yeah.
teams. This is representing your country. And then now we go into club, and I would say the Champions League and the Premier League.
Okay.
And then
You-
there's I would-
Confederations Cup?
One
FA
of my friends says the Champions is the best trophy.
That's
Just
Real Madrid
because
has
it's
the most.
Just because it's the best of the best versus, you have,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
just use Ronaldo. He had Portugal. It wasn't the best team, but he's like the best player in the world. But like, soccer's not a one guy sport. You
Yeah.
know, you got to
No,
have a team.
there's also
But-
loaded
But you have
countries.
like France, who
France,
has like
Brazil,
everybody. You have
Germany.
Brazil.
Yeah.
So like,
England.
It's like
that's why
you-
he says the Champions is the best because it's the best of the best playing each other.
That's a fair point. The thing is also the Champions League. You have to qualify to even compete in it.
You got to finish
Yeah.
top 4.
You got to
in your
finish
league.
four in
top
your
in the leagues of your domestic,
But like-
wherever you are, to even compete
World
in it.
Cup, everybody's kind of
So the World Cup,
in for the most
World-
part,
the-
especially now.
Yeah.
especially now, but you still got to qualify. Some teams don't make it, but they just expanded it. And Mexico, USA, and Canada, since they're hosts,
Automatic bid.
they're automatic.
But the
bid in,
European
which is
World
bad.
Cup qualification is brutal. Like it's
brutal.
It's
It's
hard to
brutal.
make it if you're a European.
That's what that's
country.
what I would put. I put the World Cup, Euros, Champions League, Premier League, and there's hard to cut you off, but there's a new trophy, a new tournament that's going to start next year for the first time that has potential, in my opinion. And I said this is a hot take. I said this on the pod. In my opinion, this is an extremely hot take. I think the Club World Cup has potential to surpass the Champions League. I think that it has potential to be the most valuable club trophy you can get. It's crazy to say that now. It's crazy to say that now because it's the first installment. It's like, how could you even say that? The Champions League is a story, this and that. But just the format, the way that they have it, they essentially made a World Cup for clubs. Instead of having a World Cup for nationalities, they made a World Cup, but for teams now.
I just need the teams to take it serious.
Yeah, that is true. And it's also the first time, like,
So an MLS team can win that.
MLS teams are in it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
But I feel
Seattle
like-
and Miami.
Okay.
I feel like
What do you mean?
whoever is like the top
In
people
Europe,
in the,
usually-
in the Champions
Yeah,
League is
yeah.
probably going to be the top people.
You
in-
would think so. You
Yeah.
would think so, but it depends on how serious they take it as well, like H said.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, like, don't underestimate South American teams. Don't underestimate
sure.
Brazil, Argentinian teams we were playing. To them, playing against Real Madrid is a once in a lifetime
gonna-
opportunity
they're-
in their careers. That could be their highlight of their whole lives. It's like one day telling them, I played against, versus Real Madrid in the World Cup. So when
For
clubs
Americans' term, that's
Yeah.
their Super Bowl.
Bigger,
times
probably.
100, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
essentially.
what I'm saying. Like that's
So-
the game you want to get.
It's
to.
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly,
everybody wants to embarrass the Cowboys. Everybody plays their best against the Cowboys, or they try to beat the Cowboys at least. That's like kind of what Real Madrid is like. Everybody goes 110% against Real
But
Madrid.
not
Like,
only
you
Real
can-
Madrid, but like the Chelseas, the cities, these big, humongous, historic clubs in Europe, when they play against the South American teams or, Portland. Like, let's say Portland. I'm sorry, Seattle is in there.
Seattle and Miami.
Let's just say for some reason Seattle plays Real Madrid. That's insane.
Well, Seattle has to play Botafogo,
Yeah, you're
which
right.
just
There's-
won the Copa Libertadores in South America, which is extremely hard to win. No Mexican team has ever won it, and they've been invited. They've gotten close. They've been to the final, but they never won it. Even when Mexican teams were like the best of the best in the Western Hemisphere, they have not been able to win it. So they play Botafogo, Atlético de Madrid, and I forget who is the
can bring
other
up the
the other
groups.
team in their group.
But to wrap up the point is like
Seattle has no chance.
Yeah,
they have no business.
I didn't want to
being
bring up
for
Seattle. I just wanted to
For
bring up the
sure.
point that these teams that like are low compared to these massive clubs, when they play them, they're gonna play their hearts out, bro.
Yeah, they have nothing to lose.
Exactly. So
That's the scariest
you
team to face.
It's kind of like known or like rumored, or Austin FC fans have talked about it. But we think that Drussi pushed this move, this exit, because River Plate is going to be taking part of the Club World Cup, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him.
And you take that trend going around to other teams, León, James, Rodriguez,
Fuerza León,
like these clubs,
Sergio
the
Ramos,
clubs that
Monterrey.
are in the competition are making signings
Out of the ordinary,
big,
weird.
out of the ordinary, weird, big money signings. Monterrey got Sergio
Because
Ramos
they're getting reinforced for
because
the
they're
Club
going to
World
be in
Cup.
this tournament that has potential. Like I'm saying, has potential to become the #1 trophy for clubs. It has potential to do that. It's going to be every 4 years, just like the World
So
Cup.
My
I guess
only
let me
problem
ask
with it, though,
this.
is that it's in the East Coast only. No South
West.
Coast, or a little bit of West. Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
My question is this: what makes a tournament worth it? You have your Champions League, you have your Copa America, you have like all these different tournaments and
Yes.
whatnot. Like, what makes them worth it? Like, obviously, the Champions League kind of speaks for itself. It's
Yeah.
the best of the best, but like,
I would say two things. One, the history behind the tournament. Two, what it means winning it. Like, as in for your team. What did your team just do? I know they won a trophy, they beat all these teams, but essentially, what do they crown the name? For the Champions League, winning that essentially is you're the best team in Europe. Straight up. You win that, you're the best team in Europe. Which essentially, you're the best team in the world, right? Yeah. Because Europe is where the best teams are. Yeah. When you win, it's smaller, like MLS. You win that, you're the best team in the U.S. So I think and also the history behind it, the World Cup, 1930s.
how do you think they got them to buy in on it though? Because like they all started at one point, whether if it's the first one or like 100
Salaries.
years down the line, like, oh, let's make this tournament.
I hate to be that guy, but the fact that Real Madrid won the first 5 Champions League ever had a lot to do with it. Because when the Champions League first, Real Madrid is a team that started in 1902. But when the Champions League started, it was like 1955. I think was the first one.
Who started it?
I don't know,
Real
bro.
Madrid.
Did they? No, they didn't start it.
They essentially
Like, who was
started
the founding fathers of the Champions League? I don't know. That's a great
Real
question.
Madrid started it. Not only that, they decided who gets to compete, and they were the only team that were allowed to buy
that true?
players from other. If you're going to compete in the Champions League, you can't buy the best players. We're going to buy all the best players, and then we're
I
going
don't
to
know.
play. Look it up, bro.
I don't know if
It
that's
gets
true.
pretty
I don't know
dark.
if that's true, but
it
I will
gets
say
pretty
this.
dark, bro.
I will
It gets
say
pretty
this.
dark.
Okay, look.
You brought it up.
Hold on,
You
look,
brought
hold
it
on,
up.
hold on. Hold on, one sec. I need to get this thought out before these two things. The dark history that Real Madrid possessed, that Real Madrid has, is that in World War II times, Adolf Hitler was associated with Mussolini, but there was also a third person in that, and it was Franco of Spain. And Franco, the conspiracy with the paper trail kind of leads to him being very, very favorited with Real Madrid because Real Madrid was in the capital city. Real Madrid means Royal Madrid. It was the team of the king, right? And so Franco, it was said, it was rumored in alleys and behind closed doors that he would influence referees to make good calls against Real Madrid, or else bad things would happen because he was, it was different. It was World War II times. He had all the power. It was a fascist country. There was people scared, right, of what could happen. And what I do know is that one of the most famous players in Real Madrid history, Alfredo Di Stefano, was supposed to go to Barcelona. But I believe there was interference where they said, hey, you're not going to Barcelona, you're going to Real Madrid. There's no way we're going to let you join those guys. They're nothing. You're going to the King's team. And that kind of sparked a lot of what we see today. Like that rivalry between them two, it goes back years, decades, and it spans from political stuff like that, from signings that were stopped. It could have changed sports history. And like I said, the first 5 Champions Leagues were won by Real Madrid, and I think that sparked other teams in Europe to be like, man, they won 5. Hell no, they ain't gonna win 6. I'm gonna win the next one. And I think it started.
They started making it even for other
competition.
teams, bro. They started
reminds
making
me
it
of, like,
even further
these-
started
teams.
with-
Like,
it
come
started
on,
with-
Age, you know this. You know this.
It started with
You
16
know how this-
teams.
16 teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the
It was,
first.
I don't know
invitation
the
only.
Champions League history, bro.
No,
Yeah,
the
I don't
first
know.
five. The first
16
five for
16 teams. The clubs were invited rather than qualifying based on league positions. So, AC
they were
Milan
invited.
is one I know. Real Madrid.
Sporting, and then that's all I know.
Yeah, but Real Madrid beat Stade de Reims.
Stade the Rhymes, yeah.
Yeah, 4-3 in the final.
It kind of reminds
They
me
won
of
the
like
first five.
The Red
It was a
Sox and
dynasty.
Yankees, like how they like were
Look, do your
dominating
own
the
research, brother.
But
Look
not
at
only
that.
not only was it the fact that they would interfere with some signing, it wasn't always that. There was people that, and to this day, people want to play for Real Madrid so bad because it's something about that kid, something about the
Yeah,
aura.
it's-
It's like playing for the Lakers. It's like playing
Yeah.
for the Cowboys. You want to put that jersey on. It's every kid's dream.
Prestigious.
And so yeah, there is dark history there. I'm not
the
denying
first five
that.
are. You can
I'm not
definitely
denying
look that
that.
up and find that.
There is dark history there, but there was also greatness that club has made since the 1950s
Yeah.
that people sometimes oversee because of these unfortunate dark historical events that are there.
I feel
You
like
can't
every
deny.
team, for the most
Yeah.
part, has dark times.
Especially if you go back to those times.
Not,
bro.
not all teams have fascist dictators backing them. Man. You know what I'm saying?
But like, there's always something that went on.
Yeah.
Like within every
Yeah.
team. I mean,
Like
at
the-
least for baseball, like you think about it, the Black Sox scandal. I mean,
Yeah.
that was back in 1908, and the players were
1908,
throwing the games.
wow.
I've heard about that.
Yeah,
I've heard
that was a
about
Black Sox scandal. Like, you have your own players throwing the game so they can get more money. And like, obviously, it's not as deep as that, but like every team has like, OU, they were just cheating with their running back coach.
that. What?
No, we weren't, bro.
What?
Nah.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, South America?
That's
that-
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I've seen
No.
that documentary, the 30 for 30, Escobar, the Escobar 30 for
There's
30.
a documentary
Yeah, we
called
were
those,
this
those,
guy.
The Two
That's
Pablos.
sad. That's
Nah.
sad. The two Escobars.
The two Escobars,
The two
yeah.
Escobars.
It's
That's
real
sad.
sad.
So I think there's
Andres
something going on
Escobar.
in Brazil. That's why they were like,
They weren't in the last FIFA game or something. There wasn't
Yeah.
like Brazilians in one of the FIFA.
And that has
don't
the Mexican league was also not in the.
Yeah.
They're
There's-
not in the current
it's
FIFA right now.
something- yeah, there's-
it's always about money, bro.
But that's the thing too, like
Image
talking about
rights.
soccer and like corruption and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, go ahead,
how do you
skip
guys
over
feel?
to OU.
Anyways, how do you guys feel about like the FIFA, like the corruption in FIFA and stuff
There's
like
corruption
that?
there.
Do you think,
Oh,
do you think
yeah.
it's
There's
getting better or
corruption,
worse?
I think there's way more attention to them now.
There's
so
more
maybe
light
they're-
shine to it.
There's more light shine, so maybe they're a little bit more cautious. But there's always going to be corruption, bro. When you're dealing with these, bro, it's just
billions of dollars.
billions and billions of dollars.
In-
It's just-
in the whole world.
The sport is so influenced by money and competitions and the power of clubs compared to the power of the tournaments. Like, if you think about it, that the elite clubs in Europe are way more stronger and have way more, I guess, power than you would compete the tournament of the Champions League, UEFA. Like, that's why they wanted to do a whole Super League and stuff. But it's just it's no way you can take it out of the game. That's what people here in the MLS, when we always talk about it, it's like, oh, we bring up money. Like, how much did we spend for this player? And some people comment like, man, why do you care so much about how much we spend for players? Like, it's part of the
the
game.
history, yeah.
It's just
It's
like
what's known.
it's part of the game. It's not our money, but like, it's just part of the game. It's just, like,
analytics.
and also the World Cup is the biggest. Maybe you could throw the Cricket World Cup in there, right? I don't want to be just
I
blaming
would
it.
say the World Cup.
The World Cup is the biggest tournament in the entire planet. It's
Yeah.
got the most views, the most eyeballs. It's like, what country wouldn't love to host one and have all the eyes on them, and then
All
and
the people in
all
their
the
country.
people in their country,
Yeah.
the money that comes in, the economy, and the like, for example, the Saudis, they want to clean up their image. They're known as the guys that like do some sketchy shit. You know,
Yeah.
they don't allow a bunch of stuff.
There's a term for it. It's called sports washing.
Sports washing. So that's the whole FIFA. The biggest corruption is that they essentially bought FIFA, saying, "Hey, have the World Cup in our country. Here's a freaking bag." So
I agree with everything he said. I think now it's just more light shine to it, but there's still a lot
It's
of
not
things
gonna
going
stop, bro.
on. Like there's still like just in like CONCACAF, which is our region.
Yeah.
Like, you're dealing with countries like Trinidad, Guadeloupe, St. Vincent. Like these teams also partake in these tournaments and whatnot. But think about who's running their like the
program.
like the top of the program. Like there's been so many stories, and most famously is the Trinidad one, where like there was people pocketing money back door, like the players weren't seeing like a lot of the revenue or whatnot, and that hurt. That doesn't make a player want to come to the national team. The Jamaica team also was a recent scandal too. Like they were being very unprofessional. They weren't even like organizing flights for their top players to fly to the country to take part of these international games, which they're kind of supposed to. You know what I'm saying? What they're famous, the most famous player in my opinion is what Leon Bailey.
The hot, I guess the biggest
Leon
name.
Bailey,
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest ones, and he was playing in the EPL, and it took him to come out and criticize the Jamaican like FA, right? And he even got hate. They were saying like, oh, he's using this platform to try to make himself bigger or whatnot. But you know, there some players. It takes a few players, even like Rodri. Rodri just came out. He won the Ballon d'Or for Man City last year, or the most recent one. And he was coming out and he was saying like he was protesting against all the new tournaments that are being made, like the Club World Cup, all these games. They're pretty much trying to unionize in a sense, like saying, "Hey, stop all these games! Like we can't take it. Like our bodies can't take it." But then you have the argument, like, "Oh, you get paid millions of dollars. What do you mean you can't play a sport?"
No, for sure.
But these guys are putting their body on the line, playing at a top tier level that a person on the couch watching a Champions League game will never even know about. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot of corruption, and they don't really take the players' health and mental health into consideration. And to me, that's one of the biggest problems with FIFA is the fact that it's players, it's profit over players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the fans just are left to the side, paying an extraordinary high amount for tickets, especially here in the United States.
Yeah, we want more
tickets-
tournaments, more games, more sales, more tickets.
But the players get a big bird. That's what they get. And of course, they get their money.
Are cheaper over there than they are over here, though.
Yeah, I believe what you pay for a season ticket on average here in the MLS, you can get like 2 or 3 years in
Jeez.
Germany.
That is insane.
Ticket prices for games over there
Which
are
is
way
crazy.
cheaper.
Which is crazy because
And the product level is
the product is
better. Way
better,
better.
and then there's also more sports here. So it's like you have the 4 biggest
Everything.
leagues in
literally
the
have
world.
everything
You
here.
have everything here. So it's like I feel like the MLS should try to capitalize on making their sport more popular. Because I was actually thinking about this the other day. If like in America, the most popular sports, you're gonna probably go NFL, NBA, and then like MLB. And then I would say MLS is probably like catching
They're
the
fighting for the
hockey
4th
league,
spot.
the hockey league.
with
The
the,
NHL.
bro, the stunt that the USA hockey just pulled off with Canada was bigger than anything that has gone on in the MLS in the whole
that
year,
was
bro.
all over my feed. I don't even
All
watch
over,
hockey.
bro.
And it was,
That
and it
was
was,
crazy.
and
Crazy
that,
game,
that
bro.
tournament is in
And
the
that's
middle.
the final.
It's in the middle of the hockey season though, which is crazy.
That's their Nations League, right?
Yeah, so it's like in the-
it's USA,
Yeah.
Canada,
I don't know who it
Sweden,
is,
or
yeah.
Ukraine,
So
or
it's
something
like-
like that.
There's the finals coming up, and it's
It's in Boston
it's
because
in-
we won
America-
in Canada.
America, Canada.
Again?
Yeah.
Round
Yeah.
2? What
Yeah,
a
'cause
game.
we-
I'm not a fan. I don't watch
I'm
hockey.
gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch that
Yeah.
game.
I'm gonna
No,
watch
That's
it.
how crazy
Bro,
that
and
is.
that's what the MLS needs,
And
bro.
the prime minister booed the prime minister and the whole like Canadian arena
they
booed
booed.
during the national
Yeah, and they
anthem.
got that.
Then we won, and then now they're having to
Got
come to
them
Boston,
1-2s on
which
them.
Boston is probably one of the most like
Hostile.
iconic,
What,
like American cities. When it comes to sports, it's probably like
I would say
They're
Philly's
just
number
hostile.
one.
them and Philly are like the same.
Bro,
think
people
Philly.
there
Patriots
just
I'd say
fans,
Philly
general.
number
Red
one.
Sox fans,
Oh,
like
Philly, yeah.
I would say
Where
Philly's
are
number
they
one.
going to play?
Celtics fans?
Where are they going to play in Boston? Madison Square?
No, it's I forget what it's called. The TG Garden, the Garden or
Garden?
whatever,
Oh, the Garden.
where the Celtics
Okay.
play. They're
Yeah.
gonna play there.
I think it's TD Garden.
TD Garden, yeah, TD Garden, yeah.
Have
so
y'all
they're-
been to a Stars game? The Dallas
No,
I
Stars
haven't.
here?
Yeah.
I have a friend that works
No,
for them,
well, I
like
want
the
to go to
media.
the one in Dallas.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that-
Not the one in the
NHL
HEB.
Yeah, that's
No,
the,
no,
that's
yeah,
the
I wanna
minor
go to
league.
one
The
in
minor league
Dallas,
team.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But I guess like what?
It was trying to be smart. Anyways, go ahead.
But I guess going into Austin FC and the MLS and stuff, obviously it's been a crazy offseason for us. Second year, almost win it all, and then we've kind of been bad the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So like, what are y'all's expectations, especially with some of these new signings? And then I guess like, how do you feel about that? And we can continue to ask some more questions.
Expectations are high because of the investment that was put into the club. I mean, you can't spend $30 million and nobody expect you to win more games, right? And that's why they spent the money, to win more games, right? The fan base here in Austin, it has surprised me. They're very ambitious. They know what they want, and it's trophies. It's meaningful trophies. In 2022, we got really close. We were in the stadium in LA, the Western Conference Final. We got battered by LAFC. We only had one shot on target, and it was a poor header by Julio Cascante. His cleats are right there on the table. Shout out my G. But you know, we were on the doorstep to the final. Think about it as like a semifinal. But if you look at that season, mate, the second half of it, the stats were not there. We were playing bad. The first half of the season was the reason why we even got to the position that we got. You know, and we had the two home advantage playoff games against Ross Salt Lake, which we got a little
I
bit
went to that
lucky.
one,
We
yeah.
got a little bit lucky. but luck is part of the sport.
Yeah.
And then we battered Dallas to go to the Western Conference Final, right? The season was phenomenal, but then, like you said, after that, we fell apart. The coach just got sacked at the end of the 2024 season. Interim coach Davey Arnaud stepped in for the last game, and then they hired Nico Estevez, which was the coach from rival FC Dallas that had just got sacked that June. So he was received in a weird sense, like, hey, you just got fired from the rivals team, but now we're going to hire you here. The sporting director from the club was teasing the fans, saying, hey, we have 25 coaches from all over the world calling me that they want to come here. But then you signed the guy that was 3 hours up the highway and he coached Dallas. Like, it's a little underwhelming, but we understand. Why? Because the club was probably preparing for these massive investments where they had a little bit of money to spend when it comes to the coach. And in reality, in MLS, you don't have to spend an insane amount of money on a coach to be successful. You really don't. You want to spend your money on the guys that score the goals because you don't really have to have even that good of a defense to win the league in MLS. You just got to have guys that outscore every other team. And that's what these teams like LA Galaxy recently did. They had more than 4 guys with 10 goal contributions or 10 goals that season. That's a championship team. In Austin, if you lock down Drussi, Austin was up. That was horrible. That we were a one-trick pony, and that was it. Now, with the $30 million investment, you have Mirtu Usuni, who was presented today from Granada, bought him for 12.3 million euros, not even dollars. Bukhari, Ghana player, got him from Red Star Belgrade, 7 million. At the time, he was the club record signing. But not only that, you get, honestly, this is a marquee signing, Brandon Vasquez, because he's Mexican-American. You get to market not only you don't market just a player, you market the person, right? Central Texas is filled with people that are going to be able to associate themselves or say, hey, I see myself in that player. I want his jersey. So you can get the money back in jersey sales with that guy, right? But the expectations are high. I expect playoffs. I'm not going to say top 4. I'm going to say top 6 finish in the Western Conference. I don't know what's going to happen after the playoffs because to me, the MLS is split into 2 tournaments. It's the league and then the playoffs. It's 2 different monsters. Yeah. But honestly, my eyes are set on the U.S. Open Cup. We're only going to be in 2 competitions this year, the league and the U.S. Open Cup. The U.S. Open Cup, you can win it in 5 or 6 games. So that's what I want this year, the U.S. Open Cup. The league, do whatever you want in the league, but make the playoffs. We'll see what happens after that, but deliver the Open Cup. That's where my expectations are.
Does that get you into anything?
It gets you into the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which you can then parlay into the Club World Cup.
Yeah. Okay. It's just, that's how crazy these tournaments come in. It's like you win this, you qualify for this, and if you win that, you qualify for that. It's like it's level. That's why the top is so prestigious, in my opinion.
It's genuinely a new era in Austin.
When we went to the playoffs, didn't we qualify for something?
So when we went to the playoffs, we qualified to the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but because LAFC won the MLS Cup. So they got birthed into the CCC via MLS Cup winners, right? So they were first in the West, right? So they pretty much gave that spot up to us, which was we were second in the West, right? We were lost in the Western Conference Final. So we got grandfathered into the LAFC spot to go into the CCC. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little mix of that.
The CCC, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, is essentially the best teams of this region. CONCACAF. And
that's our Champions League.
That's our Champions League. The Champions League in North America.
Which his team from Mexico is the most successful in. They have what, 7?
7.
They have 7, which is the most.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Each region has their own Champions League. Yeah. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and the
that's
Pacific.
how you get to the Club World Cup.
You got to win the best in the region. You qualify for the World Cup.
And the CONCACAF that also includes Canada.
Get this.
North America. Canada, Honduras.
Central.
All North America.
Get this. You know how Miami got into the Club World Cup? They were invited. By who? By who were they invited? By who? By the president of FIFA. Who plays in Inter Miami? Lionel Messi? Oh, that's the favoritism you were talking about. Oh, bro, how do you get invited to a tournament, bro?
Ain't no hiding that. That's straight up.
I mean,
ain't no hiding that.
Yeah, because I was like, they didn't win it last year.
You also have to look at it like this. At the same time,
it sells.
It sells. And it's a new tournament.
Yeah.
So obviously you want these big name player in there so that people can go watch these.
And I think Apple is streaming it on Apple TV. And Messi's contract, when he came to MLS, he gets a percentage
That's the
subscriptions.
difference when you
So
talk.
you got to sell it.
Yeah.
It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
And that's
expectation wise, I agree with
no
H.
matter
I mean,
how old or how young he is,
Yeah.
kids,
The name, bro.
teenagers, adults are one going to go see Messi.
he's the GOAT.
All
bro.
over the world.
He's
Especially
the
in
GOAT.
all over the
America,
world.
like we've never had access to that. So now that he's like in the States, it's like
Yeah,
Bro,
that's
I know.
crazy.
I personally know a guy that paid $2,000 for each ticket to see Messi in Dallas last year in
I
the Leagues
don't
Cup.
blame him.
I
Because
mean,
it's like
it's
what's a
hard.
once in a
Okay,
lifetime
so it's
opportunity.
So think about it. How much do you think the tickets are going to cost when Messi comes to Austin for the All-Star game?
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
He's gonna
Yeah.
He's going to be
He's
here.
gonna be here.
He's going to be here. But that's all
Yeah.
going off of tangent. Expectations are high for Austin FC.
I agree with H. Top 6. If you want to just keep it simple, he laid it out perfectly for you. Top 6, and definitely be competing for that U.S. Open Cup. We need to be at least in the semis and the finals.
You don't make this kind of investment without trying to win something.
100%.
That's $30 million, bro.
all in.
Dude, are you giving us a top 6 because everything's brand new?
No.
I would say yes because it's uncertainty, bro. There's so many, like on paper, so you could even say top 4. On paper, you could even say top 3, maybe.
So who are the top, we'll just say 5 teams in your opinion since you're giving us top 6?
The top ones that I see, definitely the Galaxy. They're going to definitely stay strong. LAFC is going to make a fight because of their star-studded team as well. You also have teams like San Jose that have historically been pretty bad, but they've also made massive investments this season as well. You have San Diego, that's a new expansion team, and they're not going to fight for anything at all, but they got some star players in there that might surprise or whatnot, but I don't see them being a mix. My top ones from the West, the 2 LAs, like I said, Austin FC, not in order. The 2 LAs, Austin FC. I even see San Jose being in the mix. That's 4. Give me Seattle because they're very consistent. They can start bad, but they finish strong. And for the 6th one in the West, man, it might be a toss-up, but somebody that's always pretty strong is RSL, Russell Lake.
Yeah.
They're really good. They beat the crap out of us last year. So those are my top 6.
Okay.
And Austin FC can fight in that mix. I see them 100%. And I think you're right. Maybe it is because everything is brand new and there's no real,
Yeah, it's uncertainty.
there's no real analytics on these guys wearing the Austin FC colors.
They've
So,
never played together.
on
like,
paper. On paper, it looks fantastic.
It's fantastic, but we got to see it on the pitch. They got to build chemistry.
So, how is it with this? We just I don't know if this was on or off camera, but we just signed this guy,
Yeah.
right? You said he essentially got traded and he has no say
he got
in
bought.
it.
His contract got bought.
Yeah. And he has no say in it. And obviously, you said he would want to stay
Yes.
in Europe.
Yes.
Is it possible for him, to not even, I guess, try or because he doesn't want to be here?
So okay, this is the thing. He had other clubs that were in Spain first division that wanted him, right? But they weren't willing to pay that release clause for him. They were lowballing the club.
Yeah.
Austin FC came in, and this is how they compete: is they offer the release clause. Hey, we'll take him. He was already refusing to train, supposedly, right? He was already in his mind, I'm out of here.
He was on a contract standoff.
Yeah, he was on a contract standoff with the club. So of course, he would have loved to stay in Spain, but it's not up to him. It's who's going to pay his release clause. So Austin FC paid it. Now, that's the thing. The way he has spoke to the media, the way that he is carrying himself, it's like he's got cockiness to it, confidence to him. Like, oh, I score a lot of goals. He said, I want to come here to break records. That's what he said.
Which is not tough.
So it's not that tough. So to me, his mentality, it seems like he's coming in, he's gonna ball out for us and go back to Europe potentially.
stepping stone.
That's
Yes.
yeah. If he wants to go back to Europe, he better fucking try.
And that's the thing with him. He's young enough that Austin FC can get 2 solid years out of him.
Yeah.
And you could parlay him, you could sell him to a team either in the championship in England, which is the 2nd division in England, or you can sell him to a lower tier team in La Liga's 1st division, like a Celta de Vigo, or Osasuna, Rayo Vallecano, which he had offers from, Sevilla as well, maybe even Liga MX. He smells like Liga MX.
He does. You met him today. You met him today.
He smells like freaking Armani. And that's what he smells like. That's what he smells like.
Yeah.
No, but he still the way that he, like you said, the way that he carries himself.
Yeah.
It's like
He's
it
like,
gives
let's
me
get to work
it's
type
aura.
stuff. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
aura.
Aura 100%.
It's
And he
aura,
probably
100%.
understands like what's at stake for
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
It's like I'm over here,
Yeah.
I can ball out here, 20 goal season,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
out.
And
That's-
he
you know what I mean?
and one
Exactly.
thing real quick that stuck out to me from his press conference today and some of the stuff that he said to the fans, actually, he said that he's been at a club that has 100 years of history and he broke records there. And so he feels happy to come to Austin and they only have 5 years of history. It's going to be easy for him to leave his
Make
name
his
here.
mark
He
here.
wants to leave his name here and dip.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. As long as you
Something,
deliver a
right?
trophy.
As long as he,
Yeah,
As long as you
Bring
deliver a
something.
trophy.
Yeah, for sure.
What's
Yeah.
like the age where it's like, I don't want to take a chance on him, or I don't want to get him because he's too old?
29, 30.
Depends on the position.
Depends on the position
On him,
also.
Uzuni, or just in general?
In general.
Depends on the position. Like in MLS, a defender can be 38 and win the league. You know what I'm saying? It could be 36 and win the league. LAFC did it with
Well, I'm saying like
Chiellini.
for him, like because you said we get 2 years out of him and he's gone. But like,
Yeah.
Potentially.
excuse me, what when is it too old for like a European league to be like, I don't really want to sign that guy. I'd rather have this guy that's 18.
He's getting close. He's getting real close. I'd say like
We're like we can't get money out of him,
later than 30 is tough. 29 is probably pushing it because like Austin FC.
Even that, I feel like that's even.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's way too old.
No,
bro.
that's kind of prime. 29 is prime.
That's at least how I feel.
He's 29 right
So
now.
the thing is, like
He's
in
29
baseball,
right
especially
now.
in the MLS.
in baseball, if you don't make it to the major leagues but like 25, 26, teams are done with you. Like teams don't want you anymore. But it's weird because
You
like
age
some
out.
of the best players, you don't really hit your prime till like 33, 35.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say this. I would say at around the age of 26, 27, you got to be on the way to Europe, bro. You got to be on the way to Europe. If you're 29, 30, it depends, I guess, on the position as well. Like, when he's 29, he's 30. You can still play in Europe at a high level when you're 30, when you're 31, 32, even 33. It depends on the position and depends on the ability of the player as well. So, if Osuni balls out for us, he has been balling out for Granada. He balls out for us again. I don't see any problem with him going back to Europe at 31,
But
32.
like I said, even if it's not Europe, you could go to Liga MX or you can go to the South American leagues, which play in the Copa Libertadores, which is one of the most respected leagues, one of the most respected tournaments in the world because it's the difficulty level of trying to win it.
It's their Champions League.
Historic.
The South American Champions League.
Historic as fuck. But, just he can either, and those teams in Brazil mainly, in Mexico, they got money. They will pay top dollar for star athletes. So if we can, like I said, if we can get 2 solid years out of Mirto, maybe get a solid, meaningful trophy like the U.S. Open Cup, or maybe you dream with the MLS Cup, maybe even Leagues Cup next year, because that's a whole other thing. But then parlay him to either Liga MX and even then, we got him for 12.3. You don't have to get all of that money back. If you can recuperate some of your investment with all the jersey sales, with all the merch that he sells, all the image stuff that all the commercials,
how good we will
everything,
be.
right? And he's not a world star where he's gonna get commercials with New Balance right off the bat. He's not an Endrick or a Vini, right? He's not that known. He's not a world star, but to this city, he is a world star.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So to here, he's a big fish and a little pond. So he probably took that into consideration, and it could have. It could have had an influence in him being, you know what, maybe going to the MLS or Austin FC ain't that bad. I'm going to be the guy. Yeah. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to have guaranteed money because that's one thing that people overlook with this league. In MLS, it is guaranteed money. Your check is never late. Talk to some guys that have played in Portugal, in Spain, in
South America.
There's times where you go weeks without getting paid. In MLS, that don't exist. In MLS, you got a players union. In MLS, you're protected as a player.
Yeah.
And all that goes into consideration, I'm sure. And then, of course, moving to Texas, the taxes ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? The taxes ain't that bad.
Yeah.
So all that goes into
a lot of money.
these.
Plus,
All that
you
goes
look
into
into
it.
how he speaks, man. Like I said, what he said is quotes. The
It's
guy wants to
easy-
come in and
yeah.
ball out.
It's
aura.
easy for people to like him.
Yeah.
It's aura.
I
It's
want to
aura.
come. When he said, "I want to come here to break records," I'm like, "Yo, hell yeah!"
When somebody talks like that, they're sure of themselves. They know what they can do on the field. And frankly, I hate to be this guy and go back to this point again. He gives me Ronaldo vibes. 100%.
Dang,
He
that's a
gives
hot
me
take, brother.
Ronaldo. Confident, knows what he can do on the field. A little bit of a, the guy that knows what he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he knows he's going to bang him in. And he even said it himself. He was like, look, I had offers from all over Europe. It's normal when you bang in goals. But he's not even fazed by it. I like that.
I feel like
Sounds
he'll
like
ball
he
out.
knows what kind of a league he's coming
But
to.
that's the thing is like on paper,
Like
we just
sorry
described
to
them.
cut you off.
Yeah,
Like
go ahead.
how much harder is what was you say? What was he in?
He was in Spain, second
Second
division.
division.
So he was
Second?
bouncing up and down from 1 and 2.
How much harder is that than like MLS?
It's
Way harder.
Way harder.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
way
So like
harder.
it sounds like he knows what kind of a league he's coming to.
Yeah,
like
it's-
the competition level.
It's
is just,
kind of like he was playing in the MLB and he got signed to the best baseball team in Mexico.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Mexican
It's-
baseball league it's getting serious.
Yeah.
They got some talented players on there. They got some teams that their stadiums are full. They got a huge support, especially like in Sinaloa, those like northern
scary
states.
place.
Yeah, of course, right?
It's that,
But they're low key. Mexico is a bit of a baseball
their
country.
best player just messed up.
The pitcher from the Dodgers.
Yeah, Julio Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
But you know,
no, it's way tiers above the MLS. for
Levels.
sure.
Levels, bro.
It's the second division too. Like even
like
that.
just think about it like this, bro. The MLS All Stars will play a team from Spain.
For sure.
That's the you know what I'm saying. That's the kind of level. Like we have to come. We have to form the Avengers to play one of them over there.
just
You
to
know
even
what I'm
make it
saying?
like competitive.
That puts it into perspective a little bit.
What is y'all's favorite like alternate kit from that Austin's released?
That's a good question. I would say the first year's camo kit was
The
pretty
camo
fire.
kit,
that
legendary.
the blue one?
Yeah. No,
No,
the
it
first
was
one,
just
it was like
soldier
the
camo.
Soldier camo.
Just camo. It was
Yeah, that one was
nice.
pretty sick. Alternate kit, that one, and what's the other one, man?
I'm gonna have to go with the blue and black one, the like lightning one that I got recently. That has Yeti, but in turquoise blue.
Oh, like it's like the recycle.
Yeah, I think it's like the
'cause
world.
each kid has
yeah.
its own thing to
Yeah.
it. The veterans.
There's
and-
like a kids cancer one.
Yeah.
There's
I just like the
there's
blue
like a
one.
pride kit. Pride kit comes out.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff.
Juneteenth kid,
Juneteenth kid,
they have
yeah.
all
There's
the
there's cool little
Latin
details.
American kid. They got all kinds of stuff. But I would say the camo, the first camo one. That
And
came
different teams do different like styles or whatnot.
Is it like
different
like
events?
NBA City?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, most soccer teams have like 3 kits, and then
Yeah.
they'll like come out with alternate ones.
Yeah.
So they'll have like an off color that's like Barcelona always uses yellow for some reason. Like, well, it's in the jersey, but they'll like have like the banana all yellow, like just different kits and stuff
Yeah.
that they wear. Another question is, and both of y'all, who is the most impactful player to ever play at Austin FC?
It's gotta be-
That's the date.
It's gotta be Drussi.
I'd argue with that.
I think it's gotta be Drussi.
I'd argue with that.
Look, he left in a bad way. It like really messed up his how the fans see him here,
Yeah.
right? As far as impactful, I would say that the conference championship run was on him. The fact that we had that season, I think, falls a lot on him.
Almost won MVP.
Pretty much was that guy. He had an insane.
Some say stolen.
Some say, yeah, of
Some
course,
say
because
stolen.
Mukhtar won it and his team crashed out in the first round.
Yeah,
Of
Mukhtar, the thing is that Mukhtar, they say Mukhtar was robbed the year before, so they gave him the year after, the Drussi
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
out
that
of, like,
courtesy.
Yeah,
Out of courtesy.
But I would
Yeah.
say Drussi, man. I would say it's Drussi because he's top goal scorer. He's that guy. It's just we're so short history to
Yeah.
see.
I got 3.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
For sure, Drussi.
Yeah.
You can't deny his footprint on the city.
Yeah.
The way that he left was so bad.
It was bad.
But
Yeah.
I still respect what he did. Like I celebrated all his goals, and they brought me joy. So I gotta respect that, right? Even though the relationship could have been tarnished at the end, it is what it is. Diego Fagundez has to be talked about in this conversation.
Fan favorite for sure.
Because and y'all can correct me on this with the Vince Young. I made this point a couple weeks ago. I have never seen a player in a city like Austin take over like a group of people like the way that Fagundez did, because when Halloween came around, when Austin FC was at its heights in 2022, Fagundez always been tatted up. He always dyes his hair. I saw photos of kids trick-or-treating in an Austin FC jersey like that. They colored with marker, Sharpie on their arms, fake tattoos.
Colored their hair.
And they just colored their hair weird colors and said, I'm Diego Fagundez. I know Vince Young means a lot to the city of Austin, and all this, all this and that. But I've never seen anybody dress up as Vince Young to go trick or treating. I mean, how can you really dress up as Vince Young? You just put his jersey on and put a helmet on. So that's not really a good argument.
Yeah.
But
I dressed up as Tony Romo one year.
you know what I'm saying?
I had my
But
football pads on.
Who's
the jersey
who's the third?
the third one is Stuver.
For
Brad
sure,
Stuver.
Stuver,
Brad
yeah.
Stuver, because of not only people will go back and forth on him because the way that he leans politically, I guess you could say, and he
Okay.
gets a lot of criticism from people like that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to get it too much into it,
Yeah,
but it's a reality. But what I
Yeah.
respect Stuver in a lot and what he's done, there's a laundromat close to where I was born and raised here in North Austin, and they've done free laundry for people in there. Just pull up, do your laundry, and dip to your house. To me, clean clothes for a kid, it can change your confidence. It could change the way that you talk to people. It changes the way that you approach your friends. It could change your life to have a clean set of clothes, and you really don't even think about it like that.
Yeah, he's active in the community.
And I respect him for that 100%.
Yeah, and I feel like too, just like he's always making impactful saves. Probably too many saves.
Yeah. And thanks to him, a lot of people I think have gotten mattresses because I think Austin FC was giving out mattresses like for clean sheets or something. Like that. I don't know. I think it was clean sheets or for wins or for goals.
Yeah.
But Stuber, he's been enormous for Austin FC.
Those are
bro.
solid 3. And Drussi,
That's my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's a solid.
Yeah,
Drussi, the thing is, Drussi, the way he left was so bad, bro. So I kind of want to even backtrack on my take on that.
On a quick note, like how did he? Because
He forced his way out.
I know he left, but I don't know. Like
He essentially forced his way out. Didn't say he just said I'm out. I was like, wait a second, why? We have a con.
It was
No.
kind of like
There's
it
more
was
to
like
it. There's more to it, bro.
I mean, I'm trying to put it in the most.
yeah, but that he was
simple.
basically saying I'm out.
When he went to after the offseason, he went to Argentina, right? And he was
in the offseason, he went back home, vacationed
Bro.
out there.
the moment he left, I'm done. I could assure you, his mentality. He was already frustrated with the fans. He was like,
The fans turned on him. But it's because in 2023, at the beginning of the year, he had an interview with a journalist named John Arnold. You can go read this interview, folks, where he tells John Arnold, he's like, I miss the pressure. Here, this is nothing. Like, here, you can lose a game and go out to eat and everything's good. Like, I'm probably messing up some of the context, but you need to read the full interview. That's what he says. And that made the fans here furious because we were just coming off of like, I think it was 2024, I'm sorry, but we were coming off of a horrible season and folks were like, dude, we sucked last year. What are you talking about? You missed the pressure. We've been ripping this team's whole, like the whole season, and you don't hear us. You don't hear our frustration.
Yeah.
So that lost it. That day made a rift between Drussi and the fan base, and people stopped backing him. And then his attitude didn't change. He was always just pouty on the field. And then Austin FC started getting rid of his friends. He had 2 or 3 friends here of the same country. They started selling them because they were honestly just tree logs on the field. Didn't really do much. Maxi Urruti, respect to what he did, though. They got rid of his boys, got rid of his mates. His attitude even went further down. Offseason came, like B said, he goes to Argentina. The rumor is, this is not confirmed. You can't put words in his mouth, but the rumor is that he called the ownership and they said, sell me, I'm not coming back. You can't confirm it, but there was media outlets that were saying that that's what he said. And in Argentina, in South America, it's not like here. Here we have insiders, right? Where you get little bits of information. It's only a couple guys that have the information. No, in Argentina, they all talk, bro. There's no secrets in Argentina.
plus, did he even say, did he even post a goodbye message?
He did post a goodbye message days later.
Yeah.
Days later.
Yeah, and I feel like that's tough too when he was the face of Austin and just to create that riff.
You know,
Slap in the face.
a lot of stuff.
Slap
I
in
mean,
the
look,
face,
you
bro.
could easily point to him. And, you know, if I try to defend him or try to say it's like, to be honest, this team was him, bro. If he was not producing on the field, we were not winning. And like you could tell on the field, like you could see his body language, bro. Sometimes he just didn't like, you could just tell he just didn't care. Like,
and my thing is, guys, and you've heard me here talk about Real Madrid for the whole podcast, how passionate and emotional I am about Real Madrid. Here on the OPM pod, I can confidently say Austin FC means more to me than Real Madrid. Why? Because I'm an Austin boy.
Yeah.
Why? I'm born here. Why? My daughter was born here. I'm probably going to die here, right? Real Madrid, I might not ever go to their stadium in my life. But to me, the colors you're wearing, mate, that jersey is the world to me, bro, because this is my backyard. This is where I was born. So for a player to come here, and yes, we have a short history, but this could have been your team. This could have been your team forever. You could have been the legacy player here for years to come. But instead, the way that you left, you slapped the fan base in the face. You did the ownership wrong. Thankfully, we got our money. Thankfully, we invested it into Mirtu Usuni, which is going to be promising for the city. But the fact that somebody disrespected my city's colors like that, I don't care if it's just 5 years in history. I don't care if we're a new MLS team. I don't care if you disrespect the MLS league. This means more to me than you would think. And you're not going to just come in here and disrespect us because you've played for River Plate, a team that, yes, is more historic. This is my city. This is my home. And I'm not going to let anybody disrespect it like that. So that's why I took so much offense to it, bro.
Yeah.
So when folks call him the GOAT, the Austin FC GOAT, that's not my GOAT. That's not the Austin
Numbers
FC GOAT.
wise, I guess.
He has the most goals in Austin FC history, sure. That ain't no GOAT. For me, a GOAT is off the field as well.
Yeah.
100%.
And I agree with that 100%, brother.
See, that's that soccer fandom that right there. You know, like American sports don't have that. You know, that's that soccer fandom. You go to a game over there, that's how they are.
It's in the veins, brother. It's engraved. It's
last thing for me, which is I've asked him before. I think I've asked CJ before too, but how can we get MLS to be on like the same playing field talent wise as like the European, the French league, and like
The
all
rules,
that?
the rules, point blank, the rules. There's no reason why the rules in MLS have to be as stupid as they are. Like the common person sees the rule regulations and they throw it on the ground. Like, I'm not going to read this, bro. The fact that we have to go through loops and obstacles to get a player from this team to that team, and the DPs and the TAM and the GAM and the U22s and the supplementals and all this is gibberish. It's like, why can't we just make it simple like the European markets? Why can't we just adopt the systems in Europe and just play the same schedule, which we kind of are going into that. But it's really the rules. Let the owners spend more money because, I've heard, I can't confirm this, but I've seen now the owners in Austin FC, they want to spend the money. They want to spend more money, but the league also ties them back with roster rules, salary caps.
They try to make it too American.
Exactly.
Their excuse, though, for that, this is what they...
To level the
playing field. Like, if you broke the rules off and said, everybody go at it, LA... instant massive super team.
New York,
Miami,
New York.
instant massive super team. New York, Kansas City though, Colorado though.
Yeah.
Where are they gonna end up?
Smaller markets.
But you
Yeah.
look at any of these other American sports, that's how it is. So like,
Yeah.
like the Dodgers.
that's the thing,
Dodgers, like they have 3 investors that have FU money. Like they're a super team, but you have like the Athletics.
Yeah.
They aren't a super team. I mean, that's just how it is.
They don't want it's because in soccer there's a bunch of leagues like you can put it in Europe like Spain or Germany that one team wins the league every single year after year,
Like Bayern in Germany.
and Bayern. Or if they don't, it's another team that
Like
competes
Dortmund.
with them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I guess the MLS doesn't want that. They don't want LA versus Miami every freaking final or
Although
LA,
they
New
want
York.
that to be the final, but they want it to be difficult.
They want it to,
They want it to be
exactly.
fair.
So
Yeah,
that's,
they want
that's
some
their
parity in
excuse.
the league.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could give them some sort of leeway on
I
the
will
rules.
say this though. We'll say this. Two points. Number one, there was a recent MLS meeting. Shout out to my G Alex. He was sitting in on the Zoom call, and somebody there said something very bold. They said that they predict that in 30 years, the MLS will be the league of choice over the Premier League.
Oh, wow.
That's a bold prediction. 30 years, we'll see what they do. Right? We'll come back to this podcast in 30 years, but we'll see. We'll see.
The rules are they're
long time.
setting for the extreme long
They're
run.
setting for the long run.
They
And-
short term they could boom they have they could do all kinds of stuff, but they want long term.
And going back to what I said earlier, the structure, the financial stability of the MLS, you can't put a price on it. Players like that stability. And other leagues around the world are trying to adopt that format because it protects the owners.
So if that's the case, why don't they just? I mean, obviously y'all can't answer this because you're not the commissioner thing. But like, why don't they just make it like the MLB? The MLB doesn't have a salary cap, but once you hit over a certain part of the salary, the owner has to start paying a luxury tax.
Oh.
So every
NBA has that
whatever it is you're over on that cap, the owner has to come out of his own pocket and start paying a luxury tax on
I
that.
think the MLS is just out thinking itself. They're trying to be different. They're trying to be different than the NFL, than the NBA.
Yeah, they want their own thing.
But it's not attractive. And they're starting to change the rules, and they're starting to loosen up here and there, allowing more owners to spend money. They're changing the rules already, allowing more DPs.
They're
and
slowly loosening it
They're
up.
slowly doing
Straps,
it. But
brother.
they need to be faster because the World Cup is next year already. And you haven't really made that much catastrophic of a difference to be able to
We're let down.
host this massive event.
We're let down because when Messi came, we thought, oh, okay, this is gonna change. Teams are gonna be able to do this. You're gonna be 4 DPs
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
And
We thought that
we're-
was going to open the gates.
And we're at this season, and we've yet to see any.
You still got to buy international slots to bring guys from other countries that don't have a green card. You can work with the players and get them a green card, and then that frees up an international roster spot. But then you can sell it to a team for
the MLS rules are
$300,000 in
crazy.
GAM.
Yeah.
And then GAM rolls over. It's so
it's so
difficult.
difficult, brother.
So difficult.
I had it was a 2-part question. My next part was kind of how you just brought up. How do you get America to hop on the soccer train?
That's so tough. It's
So
something. It's
we
something to
need-
do from the beginning. You got to get the kids to play soccer from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's
There's
the
just a
whole
lot of
argument.
options
It's,
here.
it's the whole argument of just wait till our athletes play soccer. What if our best athletes played soccer? It's that argument. I've heard it I think there was a famous tweet one time by the quarterback from the Ravens. What's his name?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. He was like, man, just watching this game, I could have been like on some Mbappe shit or something. And I was like, bro, he has the footwork to maybe have been somebody phenomenal on the pitch as like a number 10 or a winger. And today you look at the U.S. men's national team, and for the first time ever, they had a full 11 of players in the top 5 leagues in Europe. The Weston McKennies, the Christian Pulisic, the Timothy Weahs, all those young cats that are coming up, Balogun, you know what I'm saying? And all those dual nats that they're also recruiting from countries where they're not going to get a shot like the Netherlands or Italy, Brazil, Argentina, but since they're dual citizens, they can come to the USA and start here and whatnot. But how do you get America on board, bro? You just got to get the kids to play more soccer. It has to start from the beginning.
Yeah,
it has to start from the beginning. And also take the MLS off of Apple TV, put it on national television more often.
100%.
Let the people see the product. You're gatekeeping it. You're putting it behind a money wall. Nobody wants to pay to see Colorado against fucking
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Nobody wants to pay $10 a month to see that. You know what I'm saying? Put some games on national television. Bring the people in. You know, some even local teams have a night where beers are $1, beers are $2. Bring the family in, bro.
You ever play Thursdays?
I can't tell you how many times Austin FC tickets reach higher than $70, and it outprices so many people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It attracts a certain level of fans that can afford it.
I was looking at the
That's
opener
a problem.
and like tickets are like 200.
Yeah,
you know,
there's
I'm like,
hype right now.
You think a family is
Yeah.
gonna go to the home opener if tickets are like
Especially
that?
with the
No.
fees.
And then you gotta eat at the stadium. A little kid is gonna want popcorn,
100%.
maybe a soda pop.
yeah.
Well, I
You know
don't
what I'm saying?
if you've been keeping up, but a lot of MLB stadiums are going to like cheaper prices.
That's the way, bro. That's
the way. You gotta get
Think
the-
about
everything
think
costs
about
money.
our
people
think
in
about our
seats,
daily
bro.
lives, bro. We already spent a lot on just trying to live. We're trying to go to these stadiums to just
relax and get away and like
and
see
get
your
away.
favorite team play, see your favorite player play.
If we're being real, it's the Coliseum in Rome. If we're being real. That's what these stadiums are. You go, it's a Coliseum, it's the gladiators that are fighting, and we're there, we're distracted, but that's the way that we get away from what we do on a regular day basis. It's my team.
I just thought about this, but I think the thing too for like American sports is like you go to the English stadium.
I've
Those
never been.
stadiums have been there for years and
Yeah,
years.
oh,
and
hundreds,
years,
Stamford Bridge.
you know?
100
But
years,
like
bro.
here,
Neighborhoods, though.
100 years.
too.
Yeah, neighborhoods. But here, these stadiums haven't been around that long and they're expensive. So teams are gonna have to upcharge on this stuff just to be able to pay the stadium.
Not only
on.
that, it's only recently that we've been making soccer specific stadiums.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
one of
It's
the only
recent.
ones in the country.
And look
Yeah.
at
Nashville just got one.
There's only a 20,000 seater. You can't bring a big team here.
no,
No,
but
no
like,
big team is gonna want to come here.
How much it cost? Where is it at? How
The
much does
sta-
that land?
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff plays a
Also-
factor.
also
So like that's why you charge that
Let's
much.
be real with Austin FC. The location that they decided to put the stadium, domain down the street. You go to the games. They're targeted.
Because they wanted it downtown and they were fighting for a stadium downtown. It doesn't
Dang,
fit. It doesn't fit
Yeah,
That
downtown.
also would
And they
not
were
happen.
gonna,
Plus, they gotta
it
go
was-
to
it was
UT.
gonna fly
They gotta go
UT.
to UT.
Yeah,
You
that
gotta
was
go
gonna
to
fly
UT.
Texas.
Honestly, this stadium is in a great location.
Yeah,
I
love
think
it.
so too. It's 15 minutes from downtown.
Literally our backyard, bro.
Right by, like like you said, the domain. Just pregame
Yeah.
spots everywhere.
And also, bro, North Austin ain't even North Austin anymore. North Austin is like Cedar Park and Leander. Like North
Yeah,
Austin
for
is just
sure.
Central Austin
Yeah,
now, bro.
100%.
Like the way that
Yeah.
it's been growing.
North
I mean,
side?
correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that the domain bars are going and the kind of low key tall buildings that they're building in that area, that's a mini downtown that they're trying to do there in the
Yeah.
future, bro. Like they want a high end downtown, if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of tired of 36.
Yeah.
They want an area where these people with Lamborghinis and McLarens can comfortably spend their money. The G-Wagon pull up.
Yeah.
The soccer players that are worth millions of dollars are here now. Like,
Yeah.
we need somewhere where these guys to feel comfortable and spend their band. It even goes back to what Zlatan Ibrahimovic said. When he came to the Galaxy, he did what he did, and then he went back to Europe. He said he was like, man, there's no reason why for my own kids I should be paying more than $1,000 for them to be in soccer, shit like that. Like that's insane. Like, and it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the pod. When we were kids, there was guys that we knew that were so good, and they could have made it some academy. I remember my dad. I always think about this moment, bro. My life could have changed. I don't know, but I remember I almost asked my dad to take me to Mexico to try me out for it was either Monterrey or it was Pumas, but it was like over $1,000 to try out, just to try out USD, and only like 12 kids made it at the end of the day out of 1,000. But at that time, I was like, bro, I can't ask my dad for $1,200. It was like we were in the middle of the recession, like in like 2008. I can't do that, and it just goes to resources, bro. Like here in America, it is about the money you have.
It's low key a luxury sport, low key.
It is.
You need a field. You need to be you need to have a parent to take you to practice all the time.
All the travel
all the
games.
travel.
Soccer's
Yeah,
expensive.
it's like
The
it's
equipment for
similar to
soccer's
baseball
expensive.
too.
If
Baseball, it's golf.
If
all of
you
it.
look into the story of like players that were born in
Basketball.
Texas, like the most famous one is Clint Dempsey. Shout out to him. I think he's from Nacogdoches, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
His parents used to drive an insane amount of hours to take him to practice. And of course, at the end of the day, it paid off. He's one of the most famous, most historic U.S. men's national team players of all time. But let's say it didn't play off. Like, let's say it didn't work out.
I'm sure there's kids like that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's sad, but it's
that's
reality.
That's why I couldn't. No, that's why we couldn't because we couldn't afford it.
Well,
I didn't-
you hurt your leg.
Oh, I tore my ACL, but that was after I was already a grown dude. But as a youngin, my mom could, your parents couldn't take off
I mean,
work
my
to take you to.
parent, yeah.
The fact
I
that I
mean-
would ask, hey, can I join the team, go to practice? There's no way,
And I think the issue too is like why football is so popular is because you don't have to really do all that. Now they have like 7-on-7 and all these like little camps and stuff when you're younger. But like once you get older and it's 11-on-11 and full pads, like that's all you have. It's normally at your high school or whatever, and that's it. So you're not having to play all this organized sports where it's like basketball, soccer, baseball all year long. You're paying, tens of thousands of dollars. Parents are investing, losing time, working, whatever the case is, to just get their kids an opportunity to be seen. So like I feel like that's just an issue not only with soccer but just with the other sports I mentioned, where it's just you have to do the most just to even like get looked at properly. Because you wait till public school, you're already behind. We
need it, like Ace said, we need to start with the youth. It needs to start building a culture at a young age, bro. Like UT doesn't even have a men's soccer team.
Well,
That's
that's
embarrassing.
because
They have a
of,
women's.
That's because of Title IX, though.
What is,
I don't
what
know
is
if
that?
Title
So
IX
they
is
have to
you have to
sacrifice
have an
another-
equal number of women in men's sports.
What?
Yeah. So like if
So
you
for it to be like an official sport and not a club sport,
so like Texas has volleyball, so men have to lose a sport essentially.
And they were soccer.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because it needs to be in just like how football is pushed. It needs to be soccer needs to be.
It's
pushed
a good thing Texas volleyball and Texas women's soccer is so fucking good because I'm pissed right now.
Texas, especially volleyball.
I'm pissed, bro. Bro, the fact that UT didn't have a men's soccer team really just turned
It
me
sucks.
off, bro.
It
From when I
sucks.
was a little kid, from like trying to pursue like a career
Yeah.
in soccer because it wasn't, the resources weren't there. How do you make it accessible to the country, America? Build more fields, make them accessible, leave the lights on one day. Fuck it, pay the bill. Who cares? The kids are gonna be out there playing all night soccer. It just make it more
Take all my
accessible,
tax
man.
money anyways.
And that's why I'm grateful that this club came to this city because it's given us an outlet. It's given the team play kids an outlet. There's an academy here. There's stuff going on. So this is just the beginning. It's only been 4 years.
Like this cat right here, Thomas Birchfield. My hotspot's not connected, but he's a 16-year-old. He's from Vegas, recruited to Austin FC Academy, just got called up to a training camp for the U.S. men's national team.
Wow.
That didn't exist when we were kids.
No.
It didn't,
So
bro.
it's progress. I'm
Yeah.
very
He's
grateful.
also like 6'6", by the way. He's like a super freak, tall,
Was he
16-year-old
playing
kid.
what position?
Goalkeeper.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a unit. He's tall. I've
Yeah.
met him before. I have to look at him like this. His name's Thomas Birchfield. We call him Big Tom. He's cool. I've been to a lot of their games. I've been
Yeah.
watching the 18s and the 16s and the
one that play
15s.
at-
At Palmer Field, at the
Yeah, so
at
that's
the,
the
so,
pitch.
what, so I guess like what is that? Like the Austin FC too? Is that
They
just like the
practice there, right?
So
Austin FC?
the St. David's Performance Center, state-of-the-art facility. They spent $30 million partnership with St. David's Healthcare. They just extended that partnership recently, another 10 years. They built that facility, and pretty much that's like the hub for the first team. They train there. Efcito trains there as well, and the academy trains there as well. Like they all are in that hub.
Okay.
So it's
And
like their reserve team and like
Yeah.
a second, like the
you have
second division.
The academy age groups, which is 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Austin FC 2, which plays in MLS Next Pro. And then you have the first team, which plays in MLS. So there's a whole pathway. And
Like
that's
a
why,
tier system.
that's why I always tell kids nowadays. I tell my little cousins this all the time. If you want to go pro in the United States, I hate to say this, but you got to go to college. Because the MLS draft, it's how you get into the league, the MLS Super Draft. And they have all these like academies nowadays that are affiliated with like what's that famous academy in Florida? IMG.
Yeah.
They're looked at an insane amount of times for players that are coming up in multiple sports. So you got to follow this college pathway, bro, whether you like it or not. In America, the pathway that Messi followed, that Ronaldo followed, it just doesn't exist.
No.
It just doesn't exist. Like somebody's not going to go like to
Scout
your
you.
Sunday league and say, oh, that guy's putting in 5 goals every game. I'm going to sign him to Fulham. That doesn't exist here, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you have to go through their pathway. You gotta play their game.
You gotta go to
That's
college,
the
bro.
MLS
You gotta
system.
play
Crazy how
college.
it's like that for other sports, but not soccer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sucks too because like you have to tell them that, but like you really don't want to go to college for soccer, right? Because at that time, you're just kind of too old.
It's a hit or miss because if you're in England, like John Gallagher, he plays for Austin FC. He was told straight up, "You're not gonna make it in England. Find something else to do, bud." So he took a scholarship with Notre Dame, and then he was drafted by Atlanta United, and then he ended up with Austin FC.
So it's hit or miss as well. I mean,
So so there's like different pathways. 'Cause
There's
I feel
different
like
pathways.
Clem Dempsey or not Clem Pulisic, like he went overseas young.
Pulisic never played MLS. No,
nothing.
there's
Like,
kids like that,
yeah.
so it does exist.
Yeah.
But
But like
you-
in America, how do you spot that talent though?
these academies that cost an insane amount of money. And I hate to say it, and I'm not saying this is Pulisic's case or not, but here there's still that favoritism of like, hey, this guy's last name is this, we're gonna bring him up one day. Like we've had that problem with Austin FC recently where folks were saying certain players are only getting minutes because of their last name. This player is only getting signed because of his last name or whatnot. And we had Coach Josh Wolf here. His son Owen Wolf played here. He's a fucking baller though.
Yeah.
Respect Owen
he's
Wolf.
a baller, right?
He's a
Respect
baller.
Owen Wolf,
Respect,
right?
yep.
But, you know, if folks were saying, oh, is he getting starting minutes because his dad is the coach? He earned it on the field. You also have Gavin Wolf, a younger brother of theirs, the third. He was in the Austin FC academy ranks, just went to Houston with his dad because he got the assistant coaching job out there. But then they have an older brother named Tyler Wolf. He plays for Atlanta United. He had a stint in Europe. It was a loan, didn't work out. He got sent back to the USA. But those are they're like these legacy families.
I mean, Berhalter's
The
son played
Berhalters,
for Austin FC. The Reynas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The federation in USA is still like,
Yeah.
we know you, so you get the job, and we know you, you get the job, and
Everything plays into account.
and
dude.
that all blew up in the World Cup in
Yeah.
2022. It
Yeah.
blew up. It blew up. Apparently, like Reyna and Berhalter got into a fight when like on top of a building or some shit like that, like getting onto a helicopter. they got into like a verbal fight or whatnot, and then that affected us here.
Yeah.
Reyna quit Austin FC, and that he was the sporting director, which he was. I don't know if I can say the word. But he was fucking off. You know, worrying about his son, Gio Reyna, getting a starting spot in the World Cup so he could then get a better contract with another club team after the World Cup, right? And he's been bouncing around from Dortmund, Nottingham Forest, and all that. But his father was more focused on building his son's career at the World Cup than building this team in an offseason, which was crucial and left us handicapped. And that's one of the reasons why everything ended up the way that it was in 23 and 24. And we're here now.
And low-key, a blessing in disguise because look
Blessing
where
in
we're at
disguise.
now. Rodolfo Borrell is at the helm. Look
Yeah.
at the team that we have, the
If-
investment that we've made.
If that would have never happened, we would have never had Rodo Borrell right now. We would have still had Claudio Reyna, and people that know U.S. national team know how important his name is. He was on video game covers.
Yeah.
Claudio Reyna. He is a staple name, but I think he really tarnished his whole family name with the recent things
And I
that
don't
went
even
on.
think it was necessarily him. Also, his wife was involved. It was just a mess at the World
And the
Cup.
reason why I even bring that up, you asked about the college. They have Claudio Reyna has a son named Joel Reyna. He plays for the Austin FC U18s. He's pretty good, but he just committed to Michigan. And he's, to me, my humble opinion, he's good, but he's not at the level where I'm like, he's going to go pro. For me, it's better for him to go to college. And if he can, find another career. But you could still go into the super draft and maybe you get picked up in MLS, but you also have something to backdoor in case soccer doesn't work out. You still went to school, you went to Michigan, you got your degree in X.
Grade school too.
And boom, exactly. So
Also, when there's draft picks being talked around, your last name can weigh.
you're
For
especially
sure.
like
Why
Reyna.
not go for the 108th pick for?
He's
this
good.
team?
He's good too, but to me, he doesn't like stand out as like, man, that guy's generational.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, it for me.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the pod, we appreciate you boys for letting us come in and shoot this pod. This won't be the last time we're seeing of the gentleman. I promise you that.
No, definitely not.
We're
A
going
lot
to
of
work
work
together a
on the way.
lot, especially this season for Austin FC. You'll probably see us in their videos. You'll see them in our videos. So if you like them, this won't be the last time. But you got anything before we hit this off?
No, that was great. It's just cool to just talk to other passionate sports fans because I understand. Like, so we got CJ off camera. Like, he's like that with basketball. I'm like that with football. He's like that with baseball and football. Like,
Yeah.
So it's good
Hey,
to like.
we got
see
also
all-
soccer now, brother.
You
Yeah,
know,
and now soccer,
you know who I would love to have on like this kind of setting, having
Yeah.
a conversation with us, and maybe we should think about doing it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd love to have Corey Mose on here, bro.
Yeah, that's the boy. We all know Corey.
Shout out to Corey. He just had a sit down today with a player from the Spurs. That dude is a workaholic. He's everywhere, bro. He's a UT. He's with the Spurs and the Suns.
Yeah.
He even does some Austin
He's
FC
very
work.
professional.
He does some Austin FC work, and he's so fly all the time.
He
I love his
stays
outfits.
fresh, bro.
Yeah.
He was even at the media game, and he scored a goal. He scored a goal in the media game. But I feel like his vibe would
Is he
be
pretty
cool.
tall?
Corey?
He
Nah,
looks
he's
kinda
like
tall.
he's probably like 5'11".
He's like 5'11". Yeah, I'd say 5'11". But
He
I
ain't
feel
6
like
foot like Cam.
I didn't say anything
Yeah,
about my
I was-
height. Why you
yeah, I
guys
was-
throw me
yeah, I
under the
was saying
bus?
six
I would love to bring in other, like, he's not really a creator, but he's in the sports.
Another media outlet.
I love to have
Yeah.
these conversations with other
Yeah,
media
and I guess
outlets.
like just that made me just think of something too, is like what you guys are doing in the media space is like super commendable, because not only did you guys just think of this idea and actually like curate it together, but you're actually like putting yourselves into rooms that you probably never thought you'd get into. Like you guys are at the press conference, like one of the staple faces there. Like when we met and had our meeting, you guys were like, we got to be careful what we put out about Austin FC, because we have a following. So people like look at us as the news source. So like we have to be like very careful about what we say, how we deliver it, and things like that, because people are going to see that we posted it and they're going to take it and run with it. You know, so like that's super cool that y'all have gotten that reputation from what y'all been doing.
Yep.
No, 100%.
The other thing that I thought of down the line that y'all could do, where y'all are going on y'all's rant, was y'all are on pace projection to get this amount of following where y'all can start y'all's own club and call it We Are Austin TV, but the acronym, you know? And then like y'all pay for the kids to travel. Y'all pay for the kids to have the jersey. So like the less fortunate parents that don't make the money can't.
Yeah,
No
no,
doubt.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we definitely have plans to want to do. There, I mean, we have no. I would just say we have plenty of ideas, plenty of things we want to do. But right now, I think we're still in that grind mode. I think we're still trying to continue to grow. You know, we want to build something to be able to help, like you said, and do all kinds of stuff to get opportunity. I mean, what this guy did for the youth, for the academy in the offseason was absolutely amazing. He covered like the U14s, the U13s. He gave shine to the youth. Doing that was like a mission in the beginning. Like the fact that we're giving these young players like a place where they can post their videos or their score line and share it with their families. I think that has been amazing, and we want to keep doing that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's kind of where we're at too with a lot of the young college athletes. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
guy we met at Elite 11 named Peyton Houston. He's from Louisiana, correct?
Yeah, and that's quick tangent on him. We saw him at Elite 11. One of the youngest QBs there. Immediately saw his throwing motion, everything. We were like, this kid can spin it. He's a class of 2027. He's projected right now to be the number one quarterback in class of 2027. Might go to Texas, might go to Oklahoma or LSU. But like being able to kind of see that, get in touch with him, and then now we're like basically being able to document the journey, kind of follow him along. So like this kid could win the Heisman one day. You know what I mean? But
wow.
we already like have kind of met him, documenting and stuff, and like it's just cool to do and see. So,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of how we see
Yeah.
Danny Pereira,
yeah.
in a sense. Like
Yeah,
we got to
he's-
meet him as a kid, and he's all grown up now. And
He's the closest. Like I told him in person when we had him on the pod, he's the closest thing that we have to like a homegrown player, and he's not from here. He's
Venezuela,
been from Venezuela,
Virginia
he's
Tech, college boy, got him in the draft.
But it just shows a lot from our short history. Is like we've seen him from a first round draft pick, rookie, and then 2 years now, and where he could be. So
I got a soft spot for Owen Wolf too. I like
Yeah,
Owen.
me too. I love Owen
respect
Wolf.
the
I
shit out of
respect Owen
Owen,
Wolf.
bro.
He's still on the team, right?
yeah,
he's
he's,
still on the
I
team.
saw,
and he's
I saw he
bro.
had like an assist in one of y'all's posts.
Yeah, he
So,
did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had 2 assists.
Yeah,
Well, one
yeah.
and a half.
Yeah.
One and a half.
No,
One and a half.
I love him. I love him. I think
I respect him even more because he's been able to rise through the adversity. People have been talking so much shit, saying you only play because of your dad, you only play because of your last name, but the kid's a baller.
Yeah.
And that's
Look,
why I
you
respect
can,
him so
you can
much.
you can question someone's a chance, how they got it, whatever they got it, but you can't question what they do with it, bro. Like, oh, you got your chance because of this. What did I do with that opportunity? I'm
true.
balling out. I'm trying. I'm doing like I'm not gonna just you gifted me this opportunity. I'm not gonna try because you gifted me the opportunity.
prove
Come on,
himself.
you gift anybody an opportunity. It's up to them what they're gonna do with it. And he is balling out. He's playing good.
Other players that have shared the locker room with him and like the training ground and the field, they've told us, they've said like that guy Owen Wolf, like he's extremely mature for his age. Extremely. And it makes sense because his father was a football player, his older brother is a football player, he has a younger brother, so he's kind of like Weird Austin TV in the sense like whatever he puts out there, every performance that he has, people are watching, and they take it like they, you know, like you got to watch how you perform, how you put out there when you get to these levels, because there's expectations. Like for Owen Wolf, he's expected to perform on the field. That's his job. For us, we're expected to be putting out honest news that is not biased or that's not leaning one way or another, just straight facts, the numbers, how it's presented, and to inform the city of this beautiful organization that is here.
And to grow the legend, because that's something that Austin FC always says is like, no, we're
100
out
Year
here.
War.
We're out here literally trying to grow the legend.
Bro, how did we go through the pod and not talk about Matthew McConaughey? How did that happen? How did that happen? But he's another character.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's another character.
But this will do it for boys over here at Opinionated Media. Go check out the guys, man, if you haven't. We're Austin TV. Season's right around the corner for us. This will probably be out after the season opener. So make sure y'all go root on Austin FC. If you're not from here, still root them on, man. Come on. But that'll do it from boys at Opinionated Media. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.